Welcome everybody to the Entrepreneurs Summit. Thank you so much for coming. It is October 16th, 2025. This is our inaugural Entrepreneur Summit. So thank you so much for coming today. The purpose of the Entrepreneur Summit is to gather creators, business owners, speakers, authors, coaches from all over the world, and for them to share their knowledge, their gifts with you. So you're gonna hear some amazing things here today. This is hosted and sponsored by The Great Discovery. I'm gonna play a short clip here, just giving you a little bit of insight into what The Great Discovery is.
Every era begins with a question, and that question changes everything. Once we asked, what lies beyond the horizon? And someone dared to find out. We dove beneath the surface and found entire worlds waiting to be understood. We painted what we felt and learned to see through new eyes. We built machines to go faster, think deeper, and dream louder. And through teaching, we discovered that knowledge multiplies when it's shared. Today, discovery no longer belongs to the few. It belongs to everyone. And with The Great Discovery, learning has no limits. The Great Discovery is a global learning universe that makes all knowledge accessible and turns your curiosity into real-world opportunity. So when learning has no limits, the only question now is, what will you learn? Join The Great Discovery and discover your greatness today.
So we're really excited for everybody to learn a little bit today, to ask questions maybe a little bit differently. And we have some amazing speakers who are going to open your mind, blow your mind. And our first speaker is going to be Tobi. So Bree's going to give a brief introduction to Tobi. It's going to be followed by Beverly. So Tobi, be in the queue. Bree, if you're ready to introduce Tobi, then we will hop right into it and start the Entrepreneur Summit. Again, welcome everybody. Welcome Michelle. Welcome Ashley. And welcome my co-host Bree. Bree, welcome to the Entrepreneur Summit. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm so excited. I can't wait. This is going to be a great day. Get your notepads out. Be sure to grab the links. We are going to be having some special discounts. Some of these courses that you're going to see today have a special discount code. You want to make sure you grab those and get them as quick as you can because they have limited uses. So sometimes there's only 3 or 4 of them available. You're going to want to get in there and grab it while you can save some money. So I'm going to get started here and I'm going to welcome to the stage Tobi Page. She's a registered dietitian who describes herself as an anti-diet dietitian. I love that. After 14 years of working with men and women struggling to lose weight, she knows sustainable weight loss has nothing to do with starvation and willpower and everything to do with how your body works. So in the next 10 minutes, Tobi will show you a better way that helps you get off the diet roller coaster and lose the weight for good. Welcome, Tobi.
Thank you so much, Bree, and thank you everyone for coming today. I am so excited to be the first speaker of the first Entrepreneur Summit of Team Alex on The Great Discovery. So I have a lot to say, so I'm going to get right down to it. Raise your hand if you or someone you know has ever tried a weight loss diet. If your hand is not up, you might not be from this planet, right? You know that restrictive diets are stressful and overwhelming. The food rules, the hunger, the guilt, it's all so stressful and overwhelming, and this is why they don't work. But worse than that, weight cycling and yo-yo dieting can have lasting effects on one's body and mind. I'm Tobi Page. I'm a registered dietitian. I do identify as an anti-diet dietitian. I have been in practice for 14 years, and what I know is that sustainable weight loss has nothing to do with willpower and starvation, and it has everything to do with how our bodies work. So just some quick data points to consider, that 80 to 95% of individuals regain weight after a weight loss program. It's not very good stats. So for a dietitian in 2025, I need to do something different, right? So this is what we see as a typical weight loss pattern. Now, this is not for individual weight loss patterns. Usually things look very different. There's maintenance, it depends on how much was lost and how it was lost. So, but over time, what we see in the research is that if a person loses weight, let's say 10% of their body weight, they're going to regain the weight, about a third of it within the first year. By the second year, we see that people regain about 2/3 of the weight loss and returning to baseline by year 3. So again, this is just over time, the typical. Now, let's say they try again. And now it is harder this time. It's harder to lose weight after you've been on a weight loss diet. There's good reasons for that. And we're going to talk about those in just a second. But one could be it's a more difficult program, or maybe it's what your body went through for the last 3 years. Now your metabolism is different. It's harder. Whatever the reason is it's harder to lose the weight. And so then the weight gain cycle begins. So we have weight gain, and now we might even be above our baseline after year 5. If we step back even more and take a look at this on a 15-year, now obviously this is going to be no person's actual journey. It's not going to be so perfectly linear, right? But again, over a 15-year span of time of yo-yo dieting, we end up seeing people's weight higher than they started. Why? Well, because biology, we know that the hungry hormones increase when we lose weight and the I'm full hormones decrease. So what the heck is that? It's like we're hungrier than we were before, and it takes more food to satisfy us after a weight loss diet like that. We also need to make sure we're addressing the thoughts and emotions related to eating, because if we don't change that, well, then that's when we return to old patterns and we go back. If you think about it, the problem with all these diets is the idea of sticking with it. So it's not about willpower. This is what people get mixed up. It's not about willpower to stick with it. And it's not about calories. It's about patterns. And it's the diets that have been tried that are wrong. It's 2025 and it's time for something better. We need to be teaching people to be more aware of their body, not more aware of diet rules. We know that most people know healthy food from not so healthy food, but we need to be teaching people how food works in their body to manage their hunger and fullness. And we need to prioritize our body's needs above how we look, above the meetings that we have to go to, and above, well, I just want it right now. So we need to focus on our body's needs. So this is how I do it in my practice. I call this the awareness, balance, rhythm triangle. And we're going to go quick. Awareness is being aware of your body and your surroundings. Okay, so that is your work schedules and what your coworkers are doing, right? That affects how we eat. Next is balance. We achieve balance by including some carbs, plenty of fiber, and enough fat and protein in your meals and snacks. If you can describe your plate like that, you're probably doing pretty good. Next is rhythm. Rhythm is when you have consistency in your eating, your sleep patterns, and your exercise patterns. Our bodies love consistency. Without awareness, you're relying on outside food rules. This is what it's like to be on a diet. If you're not paying attention to yourself, then you need to know from someone else how much to eat, when should I eat, right? Those kind of things. But if you pay attention to your body, we can ditch the diets. Without balance, meals don't leave you feeling satisfied until you've eaten too much. So the hallmark is pizza. If you just keep on eating pizza, it's easy to eat it then, but excuse me, it's not balanced. And so we tend to eat more pizza than we actually needed. It's not balanced. And without rhythm, even balanced meals won't satisfy. Everybody knows this. If you're super duper hungry, I don't care what you give me. I'm going to eat it fast, and I'm probably going to eat more than I actually needed. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to improve your awareness, balance, and rhythm. Try rating your hunger from 0 to 10 before you eat, and rating your fullness after you eat. And that will give you some really good insight into where you're at. Include some carbs, plenty of fiber, and enough fat in your meals, fat and protein in your meals and snacks. So you might not have great ideas of what those portions look like or what those numbers look like, but I bet if you can honestly describe your plate like that, you're probably close. So then a tip for improving your rhythm is eat when you're hungry. Don't say, I'll eat after this. we're going to eat before that so that we don't end up too hungry. All right, so the problem isn't willpower, it's the approach. And when you stop chasing food rules and trusting your body, you eat better, you feel better, and you can finally lose weight without white knuckling it. You don't need another program, another diet. You need a new framework that makes sense and sticks. So I've put together the most important information I teach to just about everyone into a course here on the Great Discovery. It's called the Sustainable Slim Down Project. It's a 35-day bite-sized lesson transformation in short videos with all the tools and PDFs that I use. Plus, if you sign up, you get a private one-on-one with me so that we can talk about your situation and find something that works for you. We spend week 1 strengthening your awareness. Weeks 2 and 3 will balance your meals with carbs, fiber, fat, and protein. Week 4, we're going to focus on finding your rhythm. And week 5, we'll put it all into action. The Sustainable Slim Down Project is available now on The Great Discovery. Thank you so much for your attention. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Tobi. That was awesome. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you would like to grab this course, the Sustainable Slim Project course, I have linked it in the chat. Do we have any questions? If you have a question, please raise your hand and we will unmute you and let some questions roll. I saw Haleh. Are you? No. Okay. And Alex is running all the stuff. I hope that you guys can see the timers that we've got set for everyone. I thought that was great. Brian, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Go ahead.
First of all, great presentation, Tobi. 2, I didn't think you'd talk about me personally, but you did. No, that was really great, having gone through my own weight loss journey. So I'm curious, with the planning you suggested and looking at your plate, I might have missed it, so that was my fault. But what do you do with cravings for the food you want when you're altering your plan? And I know you're not suggesting go from what we do to carrots and broccoli only. It's a gradual process, but what do we do to sustain those cravings? Right now, I drink water when I want something other than what I should be eating. So I'll be curious what your opinion is.
That sounds very white knuckling. You know, honestly, when we get the meals and the snacks to be consistently balanced, the cravings slip away. I don't address them directly, and my clients come back to me and they say things like, you know what, I'm just not craving sugar like I was. It's usually sugar that people crave. Sometimes it's fatty things, and that's usually because they're not eating enough fat. And so we talk about how to get enough fat without being too much. But honestly, cravings are just a sign that you need something. So we need to figure out what that need is. So drinking water might get you through the moment, and maybe it's an emotional need that you're working with. But if it's actually a food need, the water's only going to delay that.
Great question, Brian, and an excellent answer. All right, we're going to go to Debbie. I'm going to unmute you.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I've been participating in Tobi's program, and I think it's great. What she talks about balance is so cool, because I'm like, I know I eat way too much Culver's ice cream. And she's like, if as long as you don't like snarf it all down in one helping, it's probably not that big a deal because it's satisfying that fat pillar. So highly recommend her. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Let's
Thanks,
go to
Debbie.
Diana. I think that's how you pronounce it. Diana, you want to unmute? We'll ask you to unmute there.
I'm considerably older. I'm 80, and I don't have a big appetite. Sometimes I just eat one meal a day, but my weight is still too high. I need to lose about 15 pounds. And so I'm not overeating, and I'm not eating a super lot of fats. I eat one small bowl of ice cream in the evening. That's kind of like my bad thing. So I don't know what's wrong with me. I do not get a lot of exercise because it's more painful for me to move around. But
Well, I think that a lot of times we have to start with what's the measure stick that we're measuring the idea that you need to lose weight. Because if you're 80 years old and you're driving around in your car and you're, wearing your sweatsuit outfit, I'm thinking you're pretty healthy 80-year-old and maybe you're not overweight. Maybe just the charts and the measuring tools that they've been using are telling you that. So that's definitely a place to start is, do I really need to lose this weight? And then the answer might be, well, yes, because I have this or that health issue. Well, there's other ways to address those health issues with your diet other than just eating less. So I definitely wouldn't tell you to eat less. What I might tell you, if it isn't indicated that, yeah, you would be better off losing weight, which honestly, after 70, I don't recommend that people try to lose weight. But if your doctor's recommending that, I would say, yeah, maybe if you can split it up into 2 meals a day, just what you eat, split it up, give your body a chance to actually burn it before, you're putting it back and work with your metabolism. Does that help?
Tobi, yeah, excellent answer. And would love to learn so much more from you. And there's a way that people can do that. It's by purchasing the product, which is in the chat. We will send an email out with everybody's link after the summit is over. Tobi, awesome job as our first speaker. Thank you so much for starting us off. We're going to move on to our next speaker. So if you have more questions for Tobi, she has a program. We'll email it to you afterwards. You can reach out to her. But we're going to move on to our next speaker, which is Beverly. After Beverly, we will be headed over to Nigel Clayton, if Nigel is here. And Bree, I think we have a wonderful introduction for Beverly.
Yeah, Beverly is 45 plus years as a holistic practitioner, 20 years spent as a master blender. She's going to have to explain that to us. She has had over $300,000 invested in liters of essential oils direct from distillers. Beverly traveled the USA and Canada teaching and training the art of blending with over 300 personal blends and countless shared formulations. She wrote the uniquely detailed user manual in 2000 that is still being used today. Beverly does not sell any products and does not promote any brands. She teaches DIY, discover your inner alchemist, and receive a certification of completion. Welcome, Beverly, to the stage.
Well, thank you very much for that beautiful introduction. I believe you can see my slides now. So, yeah, I want to say welcome to everybody here. The Essential Oil Mastery Do-It-Yourself Formulating and Blending Workshop is something that it's hard to find, and not anymore. And I make it plain, simple, easy, effective, and efficient, and safe. No product sales, as Bree was saying, no brand solicitation, 100% hands-on. And that's the key element here is, how do I do it? How do I make these things work? Well, there is an art to it, and that's what we deep dive into during the workshop. So oils aren't magic until you bring your energy and intentions and your alchemist to them. Christmas, oh my gosh, it's just around the corner. And emotions can do what? They can get out of control and get heated, right? Well, there's a formulation for that. Stress levels, they begin to rise, and stress is always present. It's the #1 culprit behind everything. Well, what if stress didn't own you anymore? How would that make you feel? How about overwhelm? Sometimes you can really be out of control when things get overwhelming, or you go into depression. Well, what if overwhelm wasn't running the show anymore? How would that change your life? Exhaustion? Oh my God, the energy thief. We've all been there. You don't need to go there. These aren't just passing moments. Unfortunately, they've become a default setting that has been normalized. Wow. How would it feel if stress, overwhelm, and exhaustion were gone forever? You become the calm in the storm. Now, this is just one of the formulations or blends that we can make when generating using oils. And we will actually teach you how to do that. But I want you to come to the workshop with things and ideas of what it is that you want. But this is a great one to have daily that you can use year round, right? My inner alchemist spoke to me with authority. She taught me that intuition speaks in the moment, softly, yet powerfully, to take action. $300,000 worth of action of essential oils. I was walking into the path of becoming a master formulator and blender, ready or not. As a holistic practitioner of 45 years, I personally formulated, as Bree said, 300 plus blends that I used in my workshop. Traveling US and Canada, teaching the Essential Oil Mastery Workshop to thousands, along with others, right? That is when I knew it wasn't oils in a bottle. It was oils unlocking my life's purpose at the moment. I want you to think about your oils sitting on the shelf, collecting dust. Hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars trapped in glass. Or think about this, the restless nights, the jaw tightness, the overwhelm of a never-ending to-do list. Hands up, how many of you got one of those going on, right? So dissolve stress before it spirals out of control. Turn overwhelm into calm and confidence. Activate the part of you that says yes with confidence and sincerity. Imagine walking into holidays this year confident, calm, radiant, and focused. Sound like a deal? It's not just a dream. Your inner alchemist knows the perfect formulas for you. So what sets this workshop apart from all the rest? This manual right here. I wrote in 2000. And it's a reference manual that students wanted copies of, and then that set off my life as an author. So this manual, still being used today, will be the biggest key part of this essential oil business. There are going to be 82 different oils in here, all broken down like this. So take a look at all these benefits. You're going to tell me you're going to just shake that eucalyptus out of the bottle and it's going to do all of these miraculously? No. I want you to pay attention up here where it says precautions. You're not going to find this in other books either or other programs. It says don't use eucalyptus if you have high blood pressure or epilepsy. There's also oils out there you don't use while you're pregnant. Did you know that? Well, look at these biochemical activities. What if a grandchild or one of your own kids got into this bottle, or you had an accident and it broke and it spilled, and all of a sudden you had oils all over you? It will burn, maybe even if you don't feel the burn. You don't put water on it, you put oil on it. But if you need to go to the emergency room because some of that oil got ingested, this biochemical activity is something you can share in the emergency room. This is what was in that bottle. That's relevant. And then your intention for what the benefits are. Essential oils are for external application only, not for internal application. This is another major part of this manual. You're going to have from A to Z over 250 ailments that are going to give you suggested oils as it shows here. Where to get started with this blending instead of trying to figure it out of nowhere. And I'm sure you see some of these on your shelf already. And this is also one that you can share with your doctor when you're stepping into this. Take a look at what it is. Let your doctor know you're going to be using essential oils. And if you need to share the chemicals that are in it, the doctor's going to know whether it plays nice with your medicine. When it's in question, say no. So safety comes first. Now think about this. Would you walk into a pharmacy, start pulling meds randomly off the shelf and take them? No. Well, respect your oils in the same way. They're here to assist you. They're powerful, effective, and have been used externally for centuries by all ancient cultures. So ask yourself, what's the cost of staying stuck in stress? What's the cost of leaving your oils in the dark? What's the value of finally using oils with confidence and mastery? Here's your choice. You leave this summit inspired and unchanged, or you can leave empowered, certified, and activated as a master blender. Your future, family, clients, the world is waiting for you to say yes. This is what you're going to walk away with. That manual, activation of oils, how to set an intention, formulate and blending, and a whole lot more. So how do you join this do-it-yourself workshop? It's happening 2 days from now, Saturday, October 18th. Mark it on your calendar. The VIP Essential Oil Mastery Workshop, October 18th, is $297. The first 3 who click the link in the chat will receive a 20% discount. And that, my friends, concludes this part of the show. So if anyone has any questions, let me know.
Amazing.
Way to go, Beverly.
Wow. Great information. Yeah, Bree, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
So as a formulator myself, I know the magic of oils, and I understand that there is so much complexity to it. And I saw someone in the chat that said, I bought all these oils and I've never been taught how to use them. That's what Beverly's here for. You want to grab this course. It is in the chat. You're going to want to be able to use all of these things. They are wonderful. Beverly, such an amazing job. I want to get to questions. So I'm going to head over to Sally. Sally, go ahead. Let us know. We can't hear you, but you look great.
Yes, Sally, audio issue there. We'll move on to Dr. Brian. We'll ask him to unmute. There you go, Dr. Brian.
There we go. That works. Sorry about that. So Beverly, just curious. Love your presentation on the oil mixes, but just based on something that I've gone through in the last week or so, just do you have a tip on an oil? And I'll learn in your class mixing. If you feel like you're starting to get a cold, what's the best sort of solution for that? And or does any of the oils work with suddenly weirdly dizziness?
Great questions. And yes. And that's a lot of stuff, as you said, you'll learn in there. Eucalyptus actually is a powerful one for colds, but mixing them and using the right carrier oil to activate it makes it even faster and better. And then I also teach how to use compresses to break down the mucus in the lungs and that type of thing. And so when you Vicks, everybody knows Vicks vapor rub, right? Well, it had eucalyptus in it. That's why it worked. Who knew? So yeah, Brian, there is, and there's several other oils that you can blend with it that are going to make it even more powerful.
Excellent. Thank you, Beverly. Great tips there. Again, Bree's putting the link in the chat. It's this Saturday. Is that right, Beverly?
Yes, it's this
Excellent.
Saturday.
All right, let's go to Marian. Marian, please.
Well, just to say, I've experienced the workshop, and I'm now making my own blends because of Beverly's expertise and how she's taught me to be the master blender. And it's wonderful to have that armory in your house. It's amazing, and she does such an amazing job too. Wonderful teacher. Thank you, Beverly. I appreciate it.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Beverly? We have one from AJ. AJ, please. Oh, there you go. Yep, there you go, AJ. Go ahead.
Well, hi, Beverly. Thank you. That was wonderful. You really have taught me a lot learning about essential oils. And when you're waking up in the morning, would you say that it's best to have like a morning blend that just helps refresh your morning, and then have like maybe an evening blend to calm you down at the end of the day?
Oh, I love that question, because the oils can be used for apothecary, or they can be used for the spiritual aspect and used during meditations. And like you say, to have something that you can sleep with that just kind of shuts down the engine so that you can get a peaceful rest. Yeah, so when you can bring that to the class, and we'll teach you how to make that blend right there so you can walk away with it. And again, in the morning, sometimes we get up and we're like, oh God, it's morning. And you just get the right oils and poof, all of a sudden you're like, ah! So yes, you can do that. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yeah.
I think we have time for one more really quick question from Michelle. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yes. Hey, Beverly. I love this. I also love your delivery. Your voice and the whole way you deliver the information is just soothing and inviting and all of that good stuff. I work with mostly older women, and we are all very concerned about our mental acuity, staying sharp, staying alert, and being able to focus on tasks. And as I am working on building my business, I think I struggle a little bit with staying focused. And I'm wondering what works for a sharp brain?
That's kind of it's a great question. It's kind of an individual one because there's other circumstance that we take into play, and that's understanding the oils and what to look up for that. So yes, there is something that you can do that with, where you can build that blend specifically for your need, not as a general. And that's the whole idea of becoming that master blender, instead of just buying a blend. A one fix doesn't fit all, but
Well,
to say yes, it does.
well, again,
Okay.
Saturday, all the questions can be answered on Saturday. The link is in the chat. We do have to move on to our next speaker. Thank you so much, Beverly. We are going to move on to Nigel Clayton. And then after Nigel, we are going to move on to Marian. Nigel Clayton, you are up. Bree's going to give a short introduction, and then we're going to love to hear what you have to present today. Bree, would you please present Nigel's introduction?
Absolutely. Nigel Clayton, an entrepreneur for almost 40 years, has been helping entrepreneurs create the business and life they really want. This course guides entrepreneurs in balancing tangible business practices with intangible elements like vision and mindset. Learn to overcome fear, optimize time management, develop effective strategies, discover your ideal business day, and create a path to sustainable success and fulfillment. Welcome, Nigel, to the stage.
Hello, everyone. I am Nigel Clayton, and I am also a ICF Master Certified Coach and a retired CPA, as well as being an entrepreneur. So let's talk about entrepreneurs. Have you ever noticed when somebody wants to start an entrepreneurial business, they sound so excited, they have all this energy, they're jumping up and down, they're going to rule the world, and they're just so happy. And then after a while, they feel overwhelmed, overworked. They have lost their mojo, and they just feel stuck and they don't know what to do. How do you go from being so positive to feeling like a failure? Well, there's a lot of things that can cause that to happen in an entrepreneurial business because it lets everything in. But I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that you need to be aware of if you are an entrepreneur or you're thinking of being an entrepreneur. Number 1, for most of our lives, we have been trained to be followers. Whether it's in class or working for somebody else, there's always been somebody there telling us what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And then we get this bright idea that we want to be an entrepreneur. And very quickly we find out when we start our entrepreneurial business, there is nobody there telling us what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. The question is, how do we make that transition from being a follower to being a leader, even if we're just leading ourselves in a very short amount of time? Number 2, most entrepreneurial businesses aren't given enough money to create a completed structure. It's a work in process. We may get some money from people. We might get some from the 3 F's, family, friends, or fools. But we really don't get enough to put everything in place. So what do? Well, when we're an entrepreneur and we don't have enough money, everything that has to happen is our responsibility. So all of a sudden, all these things that happen in a business come at us like a tsunami all at once, and we're not ready for it. So what happens to you is you turn into a reactor. You react to everything that's happening in the moment. But will your reaction really be the right decision? Will it be something that helps you get to where you want to be? That's the question. Number 3, there is a difference in the entrepreneurial business between the product or service that you sell and the business. Both of them need to be known by the entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs know what their product or service is, but they don't know anything about business, or they don't know how to run a business. And if that goes on for very long, it ends up being a very creative mess, and it will eventually bring your company down. Number 4, there are 2 parts of an entrepreneurial business. There's the tangible parts and the intangible parts. When I first started working with entrepreneurs, because my clients have always been small entrepreneurial businesses, I started working with them in my CPA practice on the tangibles. I'd help them understand what was going on in their business, what things were good that they were doing, what things needed to be let go of because it was going to ruin their business, and were they making enough profit? Was the cash flow going the way it's supposed to be? All the things that have to be looked at in a business. And a lot of times they were not doing anything right. So that's the tangible thing. But once I got them to where they felt like they might be sustainable for maybe 3 to 6 months, they wanted to grow. So I'd start putting together a business plan, and I'd put it together and they'd help me with it, and they'd be all excited. And then they'd take off with the business plan, and eventually, inevitably, they would stop. They would just stop. And I'd say, what are you stopping for? You went through this with me. You said this is what you wanted, and you were part of the creation of this. Well, what I discovered is I had put together a plan to evolve the business, but not a plan to evolve the business owner. And that's when the intangibles came in. They usually didn't have the right perspective. They didn't have the right mindset. They didn't feel comfortable and confident that they could make the decisions they needed to make. All of these things were the intangibles, and that's what stopped them. And over time, I realized the intangibles were just as important, if not more, than the tangibles. But the more important thing is the tangible and intangible parts have to work together in harmony. If they don't, success never happens. Number 5, this is something that I tell my clients from the beginning. An entrepreneurial business is created from the inside out, as opposed to a bigger company that is created from the outside in. So everything that's going on inside of you is going to be manifest in your entrepreneurial business. You very rarely see somebody that's a very disorganized person have an organized business. All of the things that are happening, you're creating from inside of you out to the business, because most of the time it might be just you, or it might be some other people, but you're the one that's in control. So how do you do all these things? How do you really get all of these things put together? Well, in the early 2000s, I wrote a book. It's entitled From Egopreneur to Ultrapreneur. I also went beyond the book, and I've got recordings of what goes beyond the book. And the book and the recordings help you with all of the things that I've just talked about. They go into them in a lot more detail. And out of the book, I created a framework. It's not a one-size-fits-all linear process, but it's a framework. Each individual entrepreneur fills in the framework. I just help you understand how it works. And I'll leave you with this. The most important thing you need to know in order to be successful is you. You are the thing that creates it. So with my framework, whatever you need a solution to will come through that framework, but it's really coming from inside of you. Any question you have, the answer will come out from you. And you being the one that decides the solution and the answer is the only way you're going to be a successful entrepreneur. You can't rely on other people, or they're going to create the business and life that you don't want. The number one regret of people that are in hospices is I wish I would have lived the life I wanted to live and not the life other people wanted me to live. That's me. The end. Oh, and I wanted to say thank you, Alex.
With the hat. Excellent. Thank you, Nigel. So Nigel has an incredible product in the chat, the Entrepreneur Journey, Mastering Tangible and Intangible Elements of Entrepreneurial Success. So that is in the chat. Thank you so much, Nigel. Incredible presentation. We have about 5 minutes here for questions. If anybody does have any questions for Nigel. Rick, you have your hand up. Do you have a question for Nigel?
Yes, I do. I just want to say that's a really great presentation, Nigel. And I'm going to be presenting a little bit later and talk a little bit about vision. And you say, and vision really, as you say, it comes from with you. It comes from inside, because you can't really move forward until you understand that vision, and it has to come from inside you.
Okay.
So I totally agree.
So we'll take question. Okay. Thank you, Rick. Daniel, do you have a question for Nigel? Oh, we'll give you the unmute here. There you go, Daniel. Go ahead.
More of a comment that the referencing of a framework versus just this is the one size fits all was really helpful. So do people does that sit well with people? I mean, I liked it.
Well, we want to do so clarify questions for Nigel would be preferred, but Nigel, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, people do appreciate it once they realize what it does, because it's, we have been brought up to, follow a one size fits all linear process, but we're not all the same people. We don't all want the same thing. So yeah, it works for, I've been doing this for a long time now, and it works because it's all about you.
Very good. Thank you, Nigel. Let's go to Mike. Mike, do you have a question for Nigel?
Yeah, I just want to tell a story about my childhood. No, I'm kidding. I have a question for Nigel. Imagine you're an upstart business. Who do you think, and I have this poll question up on LinkedIn, who do you think is the first service? Obviously, we're all biased. You should hire our own services first, but who's the first person a upstart solopreneur should hire first?
Well, I think get somebody that knows that knows what to do, and use them as your mentor to begin with, because you're not going to figure it out all by yourself right away. And you don't have much time to figure out all the things that I mentioned, and they're going to hit you right away. And then they're going to last if you don't know how to do it yourself.
Very good. Thank you. Let's go to, is it Chira? We'll ask you to unmute.
Hello, it's Chiara. Hi, Nigel. Thank you so much for that presentation. It was really, really insightful. My question is what about the mission solo entrepreneurs? To give you a little bit of context, I'm working in Italy with local Italians to encourage them to continue their tradition. So it's very much a mission-focused business. So how do you apply the framework to people that have more of a mission-driven business? And what's some advice that you could give people that are on a mission as opposed to just creating the business?
Well, the entrepreneurs that I worked with, they were very purpose and lifestyle driven. So that's what I made all of the things that I put together to help. They weren't, money came second. First, it was they wanted to do something they were passionate about. They wanted to do something that was purpose driven. So yeah, and it really goes well with that. I mean, it goes much better with that than a startup business where the number one purpose is money.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Nigel. We are going to move on to our next speaker, which is Marian. Marian, thank you. Again, Nigel, love the hat too. Love the hat. Great hat.
Just for you, Alex.
I know. I appreciate it. It's very nice. Next speaker is Marian. Bree will give a short introduction for Marian, and then we're really excited to have Lori coming after Marian. So Bree, please let's introduce Marian here.
All right, first, can we just say what a great day this has already been? You guys have been phenomenal. I am so excited. We've got more great people coming up. Even birthday boys are going to be speaking in a little bit here. Marian offers over 40 years of experience providing solutions to physical, emotional, and mental pain. Are you ready to release stress and flip your frequency to on? Your shift starts here. It's time to flip from fear to flow to discover how fast change can happen. Evolve, empower, and elevate. Please welcome Marian to the stage.
Thank you so much, Bree, and thank you for having me. So my expertise, this is just one area I'd like to cover, and this is ecstasy in action. It's a self-empowerment tool. Are you going to take responsibility for your health and well-being? The purpose of me explaining all this is the ecstasy in action is a self-empowerment. It's a very simple system, and it's very easy to put into action. And the aim of it is to provide you with a self-empowering tool, which resulting in positive daily outcomes when following the simple system. And it is so easy to use. You activate and align. So the body's imbalance shifts to full alignment when putting this simple system into action. And it's been an amazing journey. So each individual has a free will, and the choice is yours to do or not to do. It's empowering. Either one is empowering, but when we do something and we activate the brain-body coherence, this is how I explain about flipping your frequency. When your brain and your body are working together, you'll have a better outcome. You probably have a day where you've got this internal conflict. Will I, won't I? Do I, don't I? And that's the brain and body kind of pulling against each other. If you think of your brain as the conductor and your body is the orchestra, are you in harmony with yourself? What sort of tune are you playing for your daily activities? So when your brain and body are in sync, your cells are vibrating at a higher frequency. You'll get more done, much more smarter, much more effectively, much more efficiently. And the coherence unlocks the gamma state. Now, the gamma state is your automatic mode. It's where your body is very intuitive, you have rapid transformation, and it's just, as I say, automatic mode. So thinking about your thoughts, they can harm or they can empower. So every thought fires and wires your future. When you're thinking negatively, negativity will flood towards you. And sometimes people forget to turn off that switch and they get more negativity upon negativity. When you're in that positive mode, your body can empower and it has a healing effect. And what you think about, you bring about. Your thoughts have an electric energy, and your feelings have a magnetic energy. So therefore, we are electromagnetic beings. So it's up to us. We can change. When you change your thoughts, you change your outcome. Now, flipping your frequency from on. Did you ever get a short circuit in your house? What happens when you get a short circuit? Your electricity goes off, and you have to go back to the motherboard and switch and flick that switch on. So this is what happens within your body. And how that switches off is we can have trauma, we can have somebody says something that flips a memory of a childhood memory. And the body has an innate intelligence to be in full alignment. But when something happens, that switch is flipped off. And then you find yourself feeling down, maybe not having the energy to do things. You want to do things and you're not getting through them. So your body knows what to do, and your body is the masterpiece of living intelligence, but we can stop it with our thoughts, with our actions, again, as I say, with our traumas, our grief, our regrets. But when you can tune in and you flip your frequency to on, it's amazing what you can achieve. And this is what my system is all about. As I said, your thoughts have an electric energy, and your emotions, your feelings have a magnetic. So therefore that electromagnetic, it's like being in your car when you set your GPS to where you want to go. You know where you want to go, you know how long it's going to take you to get there. And your GPS builds that foundation where you are never wanting, but you always know. And it's a great way to be able to live on a daily basis. So being in that full alignment. So what is your GPS? This is what my GPS stands for. It's your guidance. You're focused on the direction that you want to go. And then the pioneer within you, you're being the leader in your niche. Or as I say, be the leader in your body first and foremost, because when your head and your heart are going in the same direction, you're going to get things done faster, more effectively, more efficiently. And being a leader in your family, being the leader in your business, that is your pioneering. And then your solution is putting the system into action to attain the desired outcome. So each individual has a free will, and the choice is yours to do or not to do. You can flip your switch to on, or you can leave it off. And what I have designed will help you to flip it on. When I see the relief from the discomfort of the physical, the emotional, and the mental, the anxiety and the stress going down, the overload and the overwhelm just being dissolved, it's an amazing, I still to this day, every time it happens, I am in awe when I see the relief that people get from the simple system that I've created. So how does it work? You're going to be tuned in, turned on, and tapped up. What I mean by that is when you're in that beta frequency, cortisol is running through your system, and the cortisol will keep you in that fight-flight mode. You're struggling, and it's not a good place to be. So to tune in, you meditate. So you think about, well, what is it I do want? And sometimes it might be thinking, well, what is it I don't want in my life? So when you tune in, you think about what you want, you set your intention. That's like setting your GPS, and your intention is, what do I want? Then you're turned on, and then you install the frequency, and you're tapped up. So you're tuned in, turned on, tapped up. And let me just share with you about the frequencies if you don't know them. So as I said, the beta frequency is when you're in that stress mode, the anxiety, the busy mind, the overwhelm. That's when cortisol is running high, and you need to switch that off. And this is where flipping your frequency to on will switch off the beta and turn on alpha, which is relaxed, calm, creative, and you feel more at ease and more able to do the things that you want to do. But the other frequencies then, like the theta, the subconscious, the dreamlike state, the deep meditation state, or the delta, which is the deep sleep state. But the gamma is, to me, the Rolls Royce. It's the integration. It's where the transformation happens. It's your natural alignment and balance within the brain body. And it's such an amazing thing to experience on a regular basis. But the more you do it, the more in tune you stay with your frequency turned on. So what do you gain by using this? I dreamed a dream. When I created I Dreamed a Dream, it became my reality. It's designed to empower. It's just like it's just a self-driven toolkit to bring about balance and freedom and comfort and so much more. It has been so unique for me personally and professionally. And when I see what it does with clients, it just warms my heart to see the difference that it has made by flipping your frequency to on. So how do you do that? You can invest today if you want to get started on your personal transformation and empowering journey to freedom. And how you do that is the toolkit. It's a digital, it's my card deck that I created personally, hand-painted images with 49 hand-painted images, 49 positive messages, and 49 frequency numbers that you can use to tap in to flip your frequency from off to on and watch the magic happen. I'm going to ask you, if you have a pen handy, write down the word now. And when you write down the word now, then write it down and spell it backwards. So when you spell it backwards, you have 1. So when you live in the now, you have 1. So you can flip your frequency to get the desired result you want. If not now, when? And if not you, who? With your opportunity for the first 3, there's a discount today. And thank you for allowing me to present.
Thank you, Marian. Thank you so much. And again, the link to what she mentioned there is in the chat for everybody. I'm just putting it in a couple of times again. Thank you so much for Marian. We're going to move on to Q&A. So we'll bring down her slides. And it looks like Michelle, you can start us with a question. Please go ahead. We'll ask you to unmute. There you go.
I'm curious about whether this involves NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, or is it something different?
It's something completely different, Michelle. I designed it specifically for 2 family members that had life-threatening illnesses. And I was distraught as to how could I help them, because one was my mom and one was my daughter. And my daughter wanted me to be her mom, not her therapist. So I started doing a painting every week. And then I got the idea to bring these paintings and create this card deck. And when I created it, I didn't know how it worked. So I got in touch with a friend of mine and I said, look, I've created this, don't know how it works, but do you have any pain in your body? And she had a pain level of 7 out of 10, if 10 was the worst scenario. And we tapped in 3 frequencies, read 3 messages, and she looked at the images. The images resonated with her. The messages definitely resonated with her. And when she tapped in the frequencies, her pain level went down to 0. And I was like, jaw dropping. Yeah, I was gobsmacked. And then I started using it with clients, and hip pain, neck pain, foot pain, anxiety release, stress release, all came tumbling down just by installing these frequencies, because it was flipping their frequency on. It was getting that, as I said, the circuit breaker, turning on the circuit breaker, getting the energy back into the body that made the connection for the body to start the empowerment. And that's why I call it, empowering change. And it's wonderful just to see it happening. It's amazing, still is, even after 6 years of doing this now.
Fascinating. Thank you. Sounds like you have something completely original that comes through you that is fantastic. I'd like to know more.
Absolutely. We can chat. Thank you.
Well, let's go to Michael. Michael, will ask you to unmute there. Do you have a question for Marian?
I really do. Thank you. And it's an honor to be in this room. It's an honor to hear what I heard. Thank you so much for this knowledge, especially for the last 3 speakers. But the question for your kit, is this customized for a one-on-one person, or if this kit can be transferable to like a child or somebody else, do they have to order their own?
Well, if I'm correct in saying, Michael, are you saying that can a child use this? Is that your question?
I think his question was maybe could you share this with family members or close friends and associates?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my granddaughter, who just has had a very bad sprain, she's in one of these ankle boots now. We don't know if her bone's broken, but yesterday she was going to school and she was in quite a bit of pain. So I just got her to choose a card. She read the message and she installed the frequency. And lo and behold, her pain level went down to 0. And when you saw the smile on her face that she was, happily going off to school now, pain-free, because she had had a bad night. She was awake most of the night with the pain she was in. And instantly it was gone. and it was wonderful, you know. So children can use it. I've used it on my 95-year-old mom. I've used it in groups, and just the same card, the same frequency in groups works equally well. So you can use it in groups as well.
Very good. I think we can maybe do one really, really quick question from Lynn. Lynn, you got like 20 seconds.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Marian. I would love to learn more. I think what you're doing is life-changing. I myself have experienced something similar, and I just wondered if you would do more consulting as well with the cards. That's all.
Yes, so I can do, you know, I can do an hour with anybody who wants to purchase the reduced price. I can do an hour as well, one-on-one. Yeah. Thank you,
The link is in
Lynn.
the chat. There's a special discount going on just for the length of essentially the summit. So the link is in the chat if anybody's interested. First, log into your Great Discovery account. So if you're choosing to purchase any of the products today, remember first to log into your Great Discovery account, and then you can purchase the product at the discounted amount. Marian, thank you so much. Awesome, awesome job. We are going to move on to Suzanne and Joey. Suzanne and Joey, you're on a little bit early. Are we ready over there?
Yeah, we're ready.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, let's give Suzanne and Joey an introduction. Bree, really sad we couldn't hear from Lori, but we're going to hear from Suzanne and Joey. They're amazing as well. Bree, give us a little insight. What will Suzanne and Joey be presenting?
Oh, well, have you ever wanted to cut through the noise and the old stories that hold you back? The Threadbreaker protocol was an answer to their own fatigue and frustration that Joey and Suzanne have had, and that cycle that ended up keeping you crying out at particularly overwhelming moments with just tell me how to do this life thing. My answer came as a Threadbreaker protocol, which is a guided process using AI, not as a gimmick, but as a mirror, NLP, and self-hypnosis to cut through old patterns, find freedom and lasting change. And you wouldn't believe this would have worked, but it did. And until he saw what happened to their lives and after running through it, let me tell you, they got a story to share. This is incredible. I can't wait. Welcome Suzanne and Joey to the stage, please.
Well, I think
awesome. Thank you, Bree.
I think Bree just said it for us. So
done.
Thanks a lot. All right, guys. that was wonderful. So I'm Joey. This is Suzanne.
Hi, everyone.
We developed the Threadbreaker protocol. We're trying to share real quick here.
Yeah. So when we try to share, it says the host isn't allowing sharing for this meeting.
There you go. Try now.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
It just popped up. Yay!
Bam.
Okay, here we go. And can everyone see my screen? Okay.
We can see you're all good.
All right.
Okay,
cool.
awesome.
So a little bit about who we are. We are partners. This protocol was developed basically as an answer to one of my own prayers. I had been through the gamut, doing the self-help stuff, trying to become the better person for the greater part of my adult life, have been looking for answers, but there was always something that just wouldn't play through. Like financially, things would happen for me big, but they would always like get pulled out from under me, like pulling the rug out. And I couldn't figure out why it kept happening over and over again. It didn't seem to matter what I did. Didn't seem to matter what class I took, what counselor I went to, or anything else. Those patterns kept repeating. And we've heard patterns a lot today, and some wonderful presentations, by the way, from everyone.
Yes.
But I couldn't see my own pattern. It's hard to see when you're looking at yourself. So I said a prayer, ran across some information, put it into ChatGPT, came up with this protocol, and then I went through it myself to see if it, was even worth doing. And when I went through it, the change was dramatic and immediate. It was dramatic enough that Suzanne even noticed it. So.
Yes. So you know how it is when you live with somebody, you really see if something's working or if it's not. And so after Joey went through the Threadbreaker protocol, which is what it is now, I noticed that he was different towards me. He was different towards the kids, towards the dogs. His business changed. And then he was even different in traffic if anyone can relate to this, like that's where you really see if somebody is like, if they've made some changes. And so after
I didn't get as angry in traffic.
Right. And so I was like, hey, that looks pretty nice. I want to try this. So I jumped in there, tried it, and had a little bit different experience because you dive right in and it gets straight to the core. And I was like, whoa, this is pretty intense. Okay, hang on. I gotta
she literally tried to get up and run away in the middle of it. But
yes.
I held her down for a minute until she finished it, got through the next part. It wasn't painful.
No.
It was just personal.
It's a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mirror. Sometimes a mirror is not the most fun thing to look at, but it is necessary for those changes to take place.
Right.
So you want to go to the next slide there?
Yeah.
We don't have that
Here
many
we go.
slides.
Yeah.
We just want to talk to you. So what we're talking to you about today is the Threadbreaker Wealth Intensive Protocol. And we're telling you about the Threadbreaker Protocol because it literally came from the main protocol. We decided that this main protocol works so well for us that if we focused it a little more on specific areas, it was a little more personal toward that specific thing. Now, everything it shows you is inside. If you want to know what the problem is, put a mirror in front of your face and it's going to show it to you. And that's what this protocol does so well. It gives you a mirror so that you see it as an outside perspective, right? It's you know how much easier it is to tell somebody how to fix their own problems because you can see it very easy from the outside.
Right.
But when it's your own problem, it becomes very hard to see. Well, when you step outside of that and you can see it from an external perspective, it becomes much easier to change. Now, the other part of that protocol is we had to replace the old behaviors with new behaviors. That's where the NLP, self-hypnosis, things like dream walking, rituals like burn letters that we use in this protocol come in and really make for a drastic and quick change. We wanted to tell you a few stories about the wealth protocol in particular. Specifically, because that was a really dramatic one that we both saw together because we did this protocol together.
Right.
And we encourage that if you have a spouse or whatever, or partner, that you do these together. They're very, very effective when done that way.
So we're going to run through these real quick, whoops, I'm trying to go to the next slide. So the first time we went through the wealth protocol, we were a little bit skeptical. We didn't really understand how it all worked. So we went through it, and 3 days later, we had a check that came in for a job we had done that was significantly higher than what we had expected.
Like 3 times what we were expecting for the job.
So we ended up getting a second vehicle, and it was a truck that Joey had been looking at for like months. And so we got this truck, and we later sold this truck for double what we paid for it.
Yeah, a couple of months later. Yeah.
Right.
But it did get to sit in the driveway as a reminder of our ability to bring something to using just our intention and then letting things flow to us rather than chasing them, which is what this protocol shows you how to do. It showed us proof that it was working for sure. So we decided, hey, let's do it again. If it worked once, it'll work twice, right? So we decided to set a goal for double our monthly income.
Right.
And
so we ran through it the second time, double monthly income. So 1 month after we did that, we hit 80% of it. And then 2 weeks later, we did the complete. We had 100% of that.
So we hit the goal. It just took us a little over a month to get it.
Then we went through it a third time, and we said, okay, now we want to do a lump sum. And that happened within 2 months. About 2 months. So we're not promising these guarantees to anybody. We are only sharing our experience because we went into it with a question, with an answer. We needed a solution. We got it. We started seeing it. We want to share our experience with you guys.
The third time we went through it, it was significantly more. It was 4 times our normal monthly income. And it came to us within 2 months, which was really a surprise. And the surprises keep rolling in.
Right.
It's just like once you're in the vibration of that, I believe someone was talking about that.
Frequency, Marian. Yeah, patterns, Tobi.
Things start to roll to you.
It does. There's like a theme.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk.
That's right.
We're kind of excited. Sorry. So this is we don't discount this. We don't do countdown timers. We don't change the price. If you're ready to commit to it, it's kind of like you're worth $39. It's worth it. So yes, you are.
Once you have this, it's your tool to use forever. You can share it with family, everything else to answer that question before it comes up. So.
Yes. And last slide doesn't want to show. Oh, okay. So because alignment isn't a mystery. I'm looking at the time. I'm trying to get this all in, guys. We could go for hours though.
Yeah.
It's a choice we finally made, and one we hope that you make too. And so this is what the protocol looks like. If you go on the Great Discovery, you'll know you're in the right place if you see this down here. And here's some testimonials over here. And we just want to thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to share the stage with y'all. And I think we're at the end of the timer. Sorry.
Perfect timing.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Amazing information. Bree, I know Bree's super stoked about it. Bree, where are you? And we're gonna open up for questions.
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are.
I'm
Yes.
like, okay, I'm signing up. Like I'm gonna grab I'm gonna grab it because it's something I just did in my life right now, and I love your energy, and I know the passion behind it. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I'm in.
Awesome. Thank you.
The feeling's mutual.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear what you get from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, the link is in the chat right now. If anybody's interested, we'll open it up for the next 5 minutes for questions, and we're going to throw it back to Lori. But anybody have any questions, you can raise your hand and then we can unmute you. Raise your hands and then we'll unmute. If not, we will looking forward to our next speaker. Any questions? Any questions?
Well, I'm going to ask a question because
Please,
I'm
Bree, go
like,
ahead.
I want to buy this. So, but what I'm really interested in is, a lot of people feel like they can't do things. It's like especially in today's times, we're digging in our couch for spare change to put in our gas tank.
Yeah.
Is this something that like literally anybody can do and see progress forward?
Yes. So we do not promise anything, a specific result.
You know what?
But
screw that.
Well,
listen,
we have to be compliant.
Listen, I promise you, if you don't get a result that you like from it, I'll give you your money back. How about that?
We do promise that. Yes,
Yeah.
We'll guarantee that. Something will come from this because it's just like we're saying. That's a great question, by the way, Bree, because this meets you exactly where you're at. It's very private and it is a mirror. And so it meets you exactly where you're at. Plus, we think it's about wealth and it's really not. And we're kind of talking about that. Everyone's sort of talking about that in here today, which I think is so cool. And once you start looking at whatever this thing is, this block, this pattern, this limiting belief, when you break through it, the abundance comes from everywhere. You think it'll come financially too, but it'll start coming from everywhere. Your relationships get better. You just like Joey, even in traffic, he just wasn't as mad. It's like,
that's a big deal.
It
believe
is.
It or not.
If you live here in Florida, it is. But yes, that was a wonderful question.
It's very
Bree.
Personalized, Bree. So
yes,
it absolutely, our kids have been through it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Not the wealth one, but the main protocol.
The parent team one.
And the parent team one as well. So,
yeah.
Thank you for that question.
Thank you, Bree.
Well, now I'm in. All right. Thank you guys. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Let's shoot it. Okay. Yeah, we have time. Jeffrey, please.
Well, not a question, but just a person that went through the protocols. And it really does challenge you to look at yourself within. And when you look at yourself within, the first video was talking about awareness of being your health. What it does is bring awareness, and once awareness is on it, then you can control the outcome of that flow of energy. Like, or am I retreating? For example, for me, it was me procrastinating, and it was showing me that I was procrastinating on something that actually I needed to actually do and press forward. And that had to do with something in my childhood that I had to come in terms with. So it really does make you look at the things that we usually don't want to look at.
Yeah.
Once you start to view those things, then it releases it, and then next thing you know, the energy starts to coming towards your direction because you're not blocking it, you're allowing it to flow through. And that's just my personal experience with the protocol. And
I can tell you this, Alex, right now, Jeffrey is one of those people we didn't know if it was going to work on because he has done so much personal work through his life, and we've witnessed growth from him firsthand. Mm-hmm. And so when he walked through it and had this aha moment, we were ecstatic. We're like, if it can work for Jeffrey, it can work for me, for sure.
Right. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Well, thank you, Suzanne and Joey. Awesome presentation. Again, the link to sign up for their protocol is in the chat. Only $39, which I think is just awesome. Really excited for our next speaker, who is going to be Lori, but I am totally ready for Lori's upcoming talk. She is amazing, and Bree is going to give a short introduction. Bree, please go ahead.
So excited to do this. Lori is in the house. The Womanpreneurs Success Codes presentation reveals why we have all been struggling with starting, building, and maintaining businesses that support and reflect the love that we put into them. The core feminine nature of life underpinnings are customarily neither recognized nor acknowledged, So we have tried to just follow the rules just as we went to school to get a degree. When we come back to ourselves, to the feminine, the modes of building from the human elements, we experience massive shifts in choice, mindset, and success. We literally finally transform the quality of our lives and the offerings we create. Please welcome to the stage, Lori.
Great. So listen, there's something missing in business. There's something that makes it basically suck for most of us, and especially for women. But there's something missing, and it's the feminine. It is absolutely the feminine. And I am tired. I got really tired. And I was like, okay, wait a second. How many times have you gone to a coach or you've bought an incredibly expensive program and you've spent the 14-hour days and you just get no return on your investment? I know so many women, and I've been one of them. Next slide, please. So at one point, I just was like, no, I'm done. And I tried for 20 years. You can go to the next slide, Bree. I'm so sorry about this, you guys, but we'll just roll with it. These are the masculine only rules. I'm not male bashing. I am masculine only bashing. We are taught actually very toxic rules, not divine rules. So we're taught to hustle, ignore our feelings, just make it happen. Money's the answer. You know, look good, make sure that you understand that you're not going to make the money that the men are, but just roll with it. Just deal with it. Just go with it. Next slide, please. Oops. Well, see, we're just having all kinds of issues. And like you, I learned way too well. I learned to just keep trying. So for 20 years, what I did was I tried and I failed and I tried and I failed and I tried and I failed. And at some point I said, okay, there's got to be an answer here. It can't be because I'm a woman. I am incredibly smart. I try like hell. What is going on here? What is happening? And I finally figured out that what was missing was the thing that no men or women who are the gurus of business ever talk about, ever acknowledge. It's the same thing that business schools don't acknowledge. And it is what is in the background, what is underneath, what births and supports every single business on the planet. And it is the feminine. Think about it like this. If you want to think from the business side, it's the people in marketing and sales who have to deal with the emotional care and feeding of the people that they talk to. It is about who is the person at home who's doing the cooking, the cleaning, the child raising, the emotional support, and all of that. What is that? Without that, all of these rules that we are given by all of the gurus who say, just follow these 5 steps or these 12 steps or these 12 weeks, those things would work if that's all there was, but it's not. It's about you being a complete person, you being the woman and the man, actually, that is dealing with what is real about you. And the stuff that is never mentioned is things like emotion, intuition, authenticity, presence, spirituality, energetic alignment, and how do you apply spirituality in business? How do you make that real? So we've got to start doing this. And what happened for me was that I did start doing this. I gave up. I said, you know what? I just can't do this anymore. It's just like being a bird with one wing. All you do is you go round and round and round in circles. But I need both wings. I can't have just the masculine wing where I push myself and I beat myself up, and that's not how any of it works. So it is about the feminine, and what that is, it's about receiving. It is about emotional energetics. It's about alignment. It's about growing together communally. It's about emotional intimacy, and it's about strategy with spirit, heart, and mind. That's when you get the masculine and feminine divinely together. So I've been creating something called the Womanpreneurs Success Codes. And this is amazing because I didn't sit down one day and go, hey, I think I'll come up with a business idea. I had been trying that for 20 years and failing. Instead, this was when I let go and I practiced letting go. This wasn't like a light switch of, okay, it's all done. Now I can just coast. No, it's not about that. It's a practice. It's a changing of the way that I've looked at everything that I do, and it is so integral to who we are as humans and what we're moving into in this evolutionary period. We've got to see ourselves, respond to ourselves, and do everything from a very, very different perspective. And that's not normal, right? That's not the usual thing. But imagine if you could have a community that helps you grow, not just professionally, but personally, because your business is you. Your business grows from you. If all you do is hustle, you're creating a real pain in the butt business. You're not going to be happy every day. You're waiting till you get where you're going, till you're fulfilled. I've been fulfilled every single day now for a year. That's amazing. That's a miracle. You know, I'm not 25, so that's a miracle. What if you have sisters in business? Amazing. Instead of competition, what if you have emotional understanding? A place to be understood, a place to heal from the toxic masculine definition of business. What if you have opportunities to practice your self-expression, whether you're going to be giving a talk or you're educating? Wouldn't that be amazing to be able to find where your power truly lives? It's such a natural place. I have a background in acting, so whenever I work with people, I know exactly where they are standing in terms of their authenticity, because acting is not pretending. Acting is being real right out loud. Can you imagine having other women in this group who are experts from all industries, all backgrounds? Wouldn't that save you time? Wouldn't that make you happy? Wouldn't that give you wepreneurship instead of solopreneurship? Yes, it would. So what I'm offering today is I'm looking for 5 people, 5 women who want to be a founding member of this weekly group. 5 women who want to have live trainings, Q&A hot seats, workshop discounts, tapping the group mind, speaking and training opportunities, built-in networking, because once you get to know these people, you really know them. You don't go to another networking opportunity where, like I did, I've now got, I don't know, 4,000 names and I don't know who these people are. So it's a problem for me. So I'm now building real relationships and a real list of people. So if you want to really get yourself out of the mindset and the emotional setting of, hey, I have to be a certain way, I have to measure up to certain standards that I've learned erroneously, that we've all learned erroneously throughout our lifetimes, please sign up, become my founding member. It's just $10 a month. So when you buy this course, it's just $60, and you get 6 months of incredible content, training, opportunities, connection. It's wicked cool, okay? Thank you very much, you guys.
You did a great job, Lori. I
Thanks,
love
honey.
Lori. Such a great group. I know that's going to be a powerful, powerful group. So please join it. The link's in the chat. You said 5, Lori? Only 5? 5. Wow.
5.
Okay. Links in the chat. First 5 people. That's incredible. So link is in the chat. Excellent. Excellent. Well, we have about 5 minutes here. Speaking of 5, we have about 5 minutes for questions. So if anybody has a question, we'll start with Daniel. Daniel, do you have a question for Lori?
Yes, an actual question. This was fantastic. Do you have anything for the males in this room that we would be able to learn from to be better men for ladies?
Thank you so much for the question, Daniel. You're just as awesome as you always are. Well, I do coaching, and I do coach men as well. And what I usually say is that I work with womanpreneurs and sensitive men. And I don't mean men who fall down if you blow on them. I just mean men who are aware of their emotional bodies. So I do coaching, and I appreciate the question. And I'm also thinking about doing a workshop, and I'd like to connect with a man that I know in the Netherlands who works with men to bring them to their heart. I would love to do an experiential workshop for men. And yeah, so the answer is yes.
Sign me up.
Okay.
Let's go to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, question for Lori?
Yes. Does your workshop help like men? I know you was doing about women, but you say you got something going with men. about tapping into their emotional body, because I have a hard time, because I was a kid, I was told not to cry and not let any of those emotions out. And even to this
Exactly.
day, I have a problem with that. Does your workshop helps along the line of that? Of just
Well, the
getting,
work, I'm so sorry. Finish up, Jeffrey.
oh, just getting into the feminine energy of the man, because they're both important, the masculine and masculine and the feminine.
I so appreciate you, Jeffrey. Yeah, the workshop that I'm referring to was done by a man named Vincent Hazenboom, and I'll put his name in the chat. And he's just about to release it, and I can talk to you about it offline, but you might want to get in touch with Vincent because I think he's your guy. He has a podcast called How to Heart, and it's on YouTube, and I think you'll want to connect with him.
Thank you.
Excellent. And people are in the chat. They're saying, I'm interested. I'm interested. Again, the link is in the chat. Log into your Great Discovery account. You should have a Great Discovery account. Log in, then go to the link in the chat. You can then add it to your cart, purchase it, and claim one of those 5 spots. So that is awesome. I'll put the link, spam it in the chat there for everybody. Any final questions for Lori? Any final questions for Lori? Yeah, everybody here should have a Great Discovery account. So log into your Great Discovery account, and then you can purchase any of the products.
Ask me anything.
Anything at all. We got 2 minutes. Okay, Michelle, please. Michelle, we asked you to mute. Please go ahead.
I can't. Oh, there.
There we go.
I'm interested.
You're good.
I have to wait till this summit is over and go on to the Great Discovery in order to purchase something I'm interested in, or can I just click that link?
You can just click it right now and go onto the
Okay.
Great Discovery as we're talking right now and purchase it right now and claim one of those 5 spots. Absolutely. Yep. We will send a final email after the summit is over to everyone who's attended with all of the links. So if you don't catch something or don't want to buy it right now, want to buy it later, don't worry. We'll send a follow-up email with all the links to all the products mentioned here today and all the special discounts too.
I just want to mention that the first meeting will be a week from this Monday.
Okay.
Very good.
So what is that, the 30th, I believe? And you'll get emails from me before that.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much. We are going to move on to our next speaker, who I'm very excited to have Bree introduce. We're in the spirit of collaboration. We're going to collaborate on this next one. Bree, Haleh.
I wish you well so that you do a lot better to catch up on the slides that I did. Couldn't see what was coming next, so I was winging it, but we got through it. It's good, and now we get Haleh. Oh my gosh, what can I say about Haleh? Because she is like the joy in the room all the time, and she is an emoji queen. If you ever want to get pumped up, pat around. But she's also a Healthspan and cell resonance coach, and she wants you to live your best life. So she's sharing From Program to Powerful, a 90-day Healthspan rescue, which is a path to break the hidden patterns that are draining your energy, your passion, and your vitality. Please welcome Haleh to the stage.
Welcome. Oh, Haleh, say hey to everybody. How are you doing today?
Good day. I'm so fired up, and you can feel the energy. I'm just pumped up and excited and ready to go. And I loved all the speakers. So much value and just enjoying this. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent speakers today. The summit is going incredible. So Haleh, we're going to have kind of a back and forth conversation here because I'm really interested in what you're doing with Healthspan, right? So there's lifespan, there's health, but you do something a little bit different called Healthspan, and you're a cell resonance coach. So can you explain what that means and how that's different from traditional health coaching?
I would love to. So imagine your body is like a radio station, right? So every cell in the body sends out tiny little signals like a radio. So the signals you feel it. So the cells send the signals to your body, how you feel and what to do. And when you're healthy, these cells are strong, active, and you feel good. But those cells can get all mixed up and you can feel the static. And those statics usually comes from old relationships or thoughts in the head, emotions, and it can go all the way back when you were in your mom's tummy. So when those cells aren't active, they're acting up, you feel it. And I felt it my God, it got me to a point that I was bedridden in the subconscious mind. Those were recorded and I was bedridden and the energy around my throat was shut. So they told me I have Hashimoto's. So that was cell resonance. And one of the techniques that worked on me that was huge, and I'm certified in that, is cell resonance quantum healing. So that by your radio station, I call it, because when it's in tune, your body is in tune too. So I work with people on the cell resonance to take the static out of their body and tune it up again.
And one of the things that you say, I hear you say a lot, is your issues are in your tissues. It's very catchy. It's very good. So can you unpack that a little bit more for us? What does that really mean? Your issues are in your tissues.
Right. Not the tissue, you know, the one person joked with me, got a tissue, and it's like, oh, is that what it means? No. So basically, yes, our issues are in our tissues. And one of my greatest mentors that I was personally coached by was Louise Hay. And this is one of her teachings that I still practice. It was 3 decades ago. It is so important, our emotions and self-talk programming. And that's that consistent, repetitive self-talk. It goes in the subconscious mind and it gets programmed and it keeps repeating itself. And those strong emotions create the programming in our system. And we sometimes are not even aware of it. So we are basically implanting disorders and diseases in our own bodies. And that's why I call it, it's programming.
This is really good information, Haleh. I want to ask you, why do you think so many people feel drained, stuck, burned out, even when they're doing all the right things? You know, they're eating, they're exercising. Why are they feeling drained, stuck, and burned out?
Right. My God. For example, I can so relate to this. I come from a corporate background, so as a high performer, I was like speeding through. And most of us are like just speeding through the day, just getting things done, and we think we're good. So it goes back to the same mental and emotional programming. For example, changing your weight, you know, maybe you don't get the result as fast. So what are those repetitive thoughts that you're thinking, you're feeling? Those get stored in your subconscious because your subconscious doesn't know the difference. So those repetitive thoughts over and over again can create that feeling, like feeling not good enough, feeling the frustration, feeling burnout, drained, and you feel stuck. So those emotions is what is causing our symptoms. So a lot of it has to do with our emotions.
Wow. What are some signs that someone might be living from a program pattern instead of their true power?
Love that question. Most of the times we just, as I shared earlier, for example, I would give you an example of me being a living proof of the example. I was at work and I was just racing through the day, trying to get things done. And I felt energetic. I felt so good. I was athletic. I was fit. And I'm doing the right things. I'm living a holistic lifestyle. But one day, after walking, I came back to my desk and the whole world was turning. I had no clue what's going on. And I'm like, okay, this is going to pass. Let alone, I felt like I'm about to pass out. So long story short, a lot of times our bodies is giving us signals and we just numb it. It's either a headache or body aches. Those are your body that is speaking to you. And we don't listen and we try to numb it up, even with the Tylenol. And we say, we're fine. So listen to your body is what I would say, because those little signals are giving you clues. It's not old age, it's not genetic. When I was bedridden, when I was in bed, it was a while back, it was 2011 for me. So when I was in bed, I had no idea that was going to happen, right? It was a regular working day. At that time, I worked in the cancer center and I couldn't get up. I couldn't even go use the restroom. I had to be carried to the restroom. Therefore, I didn't listen before I got to that part. I didn't listen to my body that is constantly giving me signals. that incident happened to me. I numbed it up and I kept working. I'm fine. I kept working out. I don't need this. I live a holistic lifestyle. So my biggest thing to everyone is I'm so passionate to listen to those little signals. I even did a test. It was nowhere in my genes that they labeled me with the Hashimoto's. At 56, I've never once been on any medication, but given a bunch of labels. That's just one of the labels that was given to me. So, our subconscious can scare us and put us in a fear state. What you need to do is just tune into yourself and know how powerful you are. You are beyond powerful, and your body can heal itself if you allow it and if you get out of the way.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I see a lot of people are, cheering you on in the chat, totally agree. But, some people might be skeptical, right? I mean, this isn't necessarily what they tell you all the time at the doctor's office. So, answer this for me, Haleh. Can unresolved emotional patterns really affect your health span or longevity? If so, can you get into more detail on how that is?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely correct, Michelle. I agree with you. It does, because your whole being, your whole state of being, actually I have a book out there, which is You're the Universe, the Master Creator, because you are, the minute you open your eyes, you're gods and goddesses creating this universe. You set, and everyone that knows me knows I always say this is a matrix, it's a stimulation. You do create your reality, but we are so programmed into this thought pattern that we are not even aware of it, that we are creating every single second and with every heartbeat. If you get up with that joy, going after what you want, the creativity will come. You will create that. And just by that, your vitality, your financial, everything will get aligned. But the fear is stopping us, and those are programmed. Once Dr. Bruce Lipton says that we can even change our DNA by our thoughts. Our thoughts are extremely powerful, and I'm a big fan of Napoleon Hill too. So
incredible.
thoughts
Well,
create
Haleh, I'm
everything.
putting your 90-day coaching program in the chat for people. So if you want to work with Haleh, 90 days, get that personal advice and really dive into the health span aspect of things. Her coaching program is in the chat. I do want to open it up for some questions for Haleh. Haleh, incredible job. Awesome information. Loved it. Her 90-day health span coaching program is in the chat. If anybody is interested in taking action today, we'll open it up for a few questions here for Haleh, if that's all right. I think we can first go to Rick. Rick, do you have a question for Haleh? Great
Yeah,
job.
just quick question. So it's awesome what you're talking about. And I would ask a question. Like everybody, a lot of people here are really learning how to run a better business and actually have a basic shout out what they do and how they serve the world. But my question to you is, would you agree that the most important thing that you need to do before you can do any of those things is you have to look after your physical, spiritual, and your mental health?
Absolutely. It's body, mind, and spirit. And that's why I call myself a health span. It's not a health coach. Health span is your body, mind, and spirit. Because what threw me out in bed, I was living a holistic lifestyle. And I've been mentored by a scientist that cured his stage 4 cancer. So I've been mentored by the top and the best, but I was still bedridden in bed that I couldn't move. So yes, your body, mind, and spirit. What threw me off at that time was my voice. The energy in my throat was shut. I couldn't speak. I needed to survive financially. I needed that job. So yes, it is important. Thank you.
Well, let's go to a question from Mike. Mike, would love to hear a question for Haleh.
All right, Haleh, for all the conversations we've had, this is something we haven't talked about much. I'm trying to stump you a little bit. For people who are, I'm working on it. Okay, for the people in this room who are, for the most part, pretty healthy, how do you implement all of these modalities you use without overwhelm? Because you go pretty deep in the pool. How do I implement these things without completely frying my brain worrying about it?
Thank you, Michael. Mike, sorry about that.
That's when I'm in trouble. What did I do to you now? Do
what you do. Okay. So Yes, it's always the simplicity. I simplify things because the wealth health is so overwhelming. Even I was overwhelmed. It's so many modalities, so many techniques. I simplify it. And that's why I have that 5-step morning action plan that it only takes 5 steps. If you don't have this, you can't get all the way to the cell resonance because it starts with the basic. It's even a toothpaste is in there. So that's what's unique about that. And yes, it starts with the simplicity. Yeah, a lot of people wonder why a toothpaste. Did you know that all your teeth are connected to your organs? And there's so many good toothpastes out there. But thank you, Mike. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, you're right. I appreciate that. I don't have to worry about it. So I can implement it partially without worrying about cell resonance on day one.
Right on. Yes.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love it. Yeah. Haleh knows all these. She has just so many different tools and different things to recommend. She's just a total treasure trove of interesting information. So I really loved your talk, Haleh. Again, her 90-day coaching program, it's catered to you. You know, it's a personalized coaching program. So if you're interested, again, log into your Great Discovery account and you can purchase it today. So you can do it now. You can do it after. Rick is going to be up next. Rick M, you're coming up next, but we are going to play a short video here about the Great Discovery. This event is sponsored by the Great Discovery, and it's a place where you can really learn anything. You're hearing so many incredible presentations from creators, speakers, authors, coaches, people who have a message and a mission to get out there to the world, and the Great Discovery makes it possible. And so we're going to share a quick video to tell you a little bit more about the Great Discovery.
Every era begins with a question, and that question changes everything. Once we asked, what lies beyond the horizon? And someone dared to find out. We dove beneath the surface and found entire worlds waiting to be understood. We painted what we felt and learned to see through new eyes. We built machines to go faster, think deeper, and dream louder. And through teaching, we discovered that knowledge multiplies when it's shared. Today, discovery no longer belongs to the few. It belongs to everyone. And with the Great Discovery, learning has no limits. The Great Discovery is a global learning universe that makes all knowledge accessible and turns your curiosity into real-world opportunity. So when learning has no limits, the only question now is, what will you learn? Join the Great Discovery and discover your greatness today.
Incredible. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. And if you're interested in learning and making maybe videos like that for yourself and for your business, well, we will show you a preview on how you can do that maybe a little bit later. But we have our next speaker coming up, Rick McCulloch. Bree, we have a great introduction for him. Rick, you will be on stage here very soon. But Bree, why don't we introduce Rick?
Yeah. So Rick is here. He's going to dive into the exact strategies he uses to help small business owners uncover hidden profits, create unstoppable cash flow, and dominate their markets. You'll discover how to shift from being just another option in your industry to becoming the obvious choice without extra ad spend or risky moves. By the end of this session, you'll walk away with the practical tools to accelerate your growth and secure the freedom, independence, and success you've envisioned when you started your business. Please welcome Rick to the stage.
Thank you very much. I'm going to get my slides up real fast, but thank you very much for the introduction. And you're on hard act to follow. And I'm going to share my screen here and I'll try and follow your act. But you said a lot of great things there, and I think it's very important to have that before you do any of the things I'm going to talk about. But once you have that in place, then you need to, if you want a successful business, you have to be doing these things as well. So I'm going to share my screen right now and get started. And start from the beginning. So first of all, can everybody see my slides?
Looking great, Rick. Go ahead.
Great. Thank you very much. So anyway, I'm going to talk about unleash your business brilliance and your irresistible edge. And you know you're really great at what you do. You're brilliant at what you do. You know you are. And you're ready to make an impact in the world. Yet you feel like you're a blur in a crowded marketplace. And you also are done with being the best kept secret, because nobody can find you. You can't help anybody. So what I'm going to talk about is then get ready to unlock your business brilliance and discover your irresistible edge. And I'm going to define what that is in a minute. So my agenda is really about, you're going to identify hidden growth blocks, define the irresistible edge, walk a 4-step playbook, and show quick action steps. And we'll finish with a strong live Q&A so you can leave crystal clear, fired up, and ready to dominate your market. Before I dive in, here's a little about me and why you can trust me to help you dominate your market. I'm going to tell you a short story about an entrepreneur. And he was basically stuck in a hole on the search for treasure. And a doctor came along and offered a prescription. A poet came along and offered inspiration. Another one came along and offered great business ideas. And none of those really helped. Then someone came and jumped in the hole, and I said, "Why would you do it?" He said, "Why would you do that?" He cried. We're both stuck in the hole. And the other replied, "No, we're not. I've been here before, and I know the way out." That trapped entrepreneur is me. My first coach showed me the way out of that hole, and today I help entrepreneurs out of the holes that they're in and accelerate their profit and growth. So I'm Rick McCulloch, and I am a profit acceleration business growth specialist. I have over 25 years in oil and gas mastering strategy. But when I launched my coaching business, transitioning out of the oil and gas industry, I really struggled. But then I learned from mentors like Jay Abram and Brian Tracy, and I cracked the code in creating real results. That's enough about me. So let's get on to helping you find your irresistible edge and how you can actually achieve the results you want. So raise your hand if this sounds familiar to you. Few or no prospects or clients, overwhelmed, burnout, sleepless nights, stagnant cash flow and hidden debt, anxiety, frustration, lack of fulfillment, no freedom or independence, despite your hard work. And again, if any of these resonate with you, just say yes in the chat. So now imagine the difference. Your crystal clear solution so obvious attracts the clients you want like a magnet, because it amplifies your visibility, authority, and credibility for predictable, unstoppable cash flow, high margin offers, your market craze, and time to focus on growth instead of fighting fires. First of all, your marketing is your foundation of a successful business. But you may be shouting into a void, and you risk fading into obscurity unless you replace your assumption ego-driven marketing with marketing driven by your irresistible edge, the advantage that makes your marketing work. So your irresistible edge is not just a tagline. It's a clear, compelling advantage. Prospects actually turn to for a solution to the problem they have. They turn to you for that solution. Before you can write your what I call your irresistible edge statement, before you can have a strong message, you first need to uncover what that irresistible edge is, and that becomes the clarity behind the focus of every message you deliver from then on. It begins with a clear vision, understand your current position and future, and accompanied by a dedicated commitment to serving others. Once you define your vision, here's the playbook. First, map your market landscape. Secondly, identify what truly drives purchases. Third, solicit candid feedback for your strengths, because often other people will tell you more about you than you probably know about yourself. Fourth, translate these insights into your proof-packed positioning that highlights your irresistible edge. And here are the keys to uncovering that irresistible edge. Be able to enter the conversation taking place in the head of the buyer, and be able to address the number one question in your buyer's mind just at the right time. And the conversation starts with taking place in buyer's mind revolves around two major points. There's a problem they have and they don't want, and there's a result they want and they don't have. So every marketing message follows this sequence. You have to interrupt your prospect, get their attention because everybody's walking around on autopilot. Speak directly to what they care about, provide evidence, present an offer so compelling, anchored by your irresistible edge that they can't say no. Once your irresistible edge, you own that, you can leverage basically magnify your profit levers for profit boost. You can negotiate better terms, charge premium fees, upsell fees, create high value bundles, and see a dramatic lift in each marketing channel. For example, these brands establish a distinct focus, such as delivery, reliability, low cost, luxury, and structured their operations with that particular attribute. Now you can do the same thing in your own niche by owning your own differentiated advantage. A great example was Pizza Hut back in the 1980s, when they were actually competing against people like Pizza Hut, and they basically knew they couldn't make pizza better. It wasn't about making better tasting pizza, but what they did is they made a promise to directly solve their clients' target customers' biggest problem. In this case, was college students who were impatient, hungry, and they didn't have time to go. They didn't have time to cook. And so the guarantee was bold: had fresh pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. But what made this strategy so powerful was not just a message, but it's also about their business model. So they built low cost, no frills stores, a college campus designed to streamline menu for speed, and overstaffed delivery crews to ensure reliability. They built their entire system to consistently deliver one irresistible promise: fast and reliable pizza. That takeaway is market domination isn't about everything, about being everything to everybody. It's about making one irresistible promise and backing it with a promise business model that ensures delivery every single time. So it's not just about what you deliver, it's also about how you deliver it. In summary, your irresistible edge is your number one growth asset. Use the 4-step roadmap to uncover and refine it. Leverage your irresistible edge across pricing and offers and campaigns. And innovation is the key secret to amplifying your perceived value. So if you feel like you're a blur in a crowded marketplace, then get ready to unleash your business brilliance, your irresistible edge. So enroll in the Hidden Profit Accelerator to uncover the hidden secrets to uncovering your hidden profits for more clarity, focus, visibility, authority, credibility, clients, more clients, revenue, and most importantly, profits. And what you'll get in this 2-hour session, first of all, you get a 30-minute discovery and prep call, which includes a deep dive into the growth killers specific to your business, a 90-minute hidden profit assessment, which includes clarity on the irresistible edge, hidden profit centers specific to your business, and an actionable implementation plan. You also get a website conversion rate optimization audit. You get the 7 questions you must ask every customer for feedback, the email formula for asking those you trust to identify your unique capability, the 3 powerful business books and workbook from my Profit Acceleration Workshop. And this is only available for my private clients. You'll also get the recordings and the satisfaction guarantee. The combined value of that is around $3,000, but the great discovery is listed at $500. But today you can grab it for $375 using the code UNLEASH at checkout. And this is available. This discount code is only available for the three first action takers. And that discount expires also tomorrow at midnight. So this is for you if you've been in business for at least 6 months. You're ready to put in the time and energy, and you're finally prepared to be seen, heard, and paid what you're worth. You're tired of giving your all without seeing real results. You're ready to create the impact you always meant to have. If that sounds like you, this could be the smartest move you make all year. So I'd like to thank you for this and finish with these quotes. Marketing and innovation make money. Everything else is a cost. And that's from Peter Drucker. And you can read it on the screen there, but where he's from and what his contribution to business was. The other one is differentiation is one of the most important strategic activities in the company. Differentiate or die.
Thank you, Rick. Rick, yes, we have his Hidden Profit Accelerator in the chat, and no discount code is required. Just simply click on the link in the chat, and that will give you the 20% off. Only 3 available, and it does expire tomorrow. So be one of the first 3. You can buy it with the special link in the chat. Rick, awesome presentation. I loved it. I loved it. I loved your slides too. They were really fun. I really love those. Really great job, Rick. We're going to open up for questions for Rick. So if anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand, and we have about 5 minutes here. And then we're going to go to the next Rick. We have 2 Ricks on the summit, and we're Rick and Rick back to back. So any questions for Rick, you can raise your hand, and we will answer questions here for about the next 5 minutes. Haleh says, powerful presentation. Great job, Rick. Yeah, great. I've never seen that presentation before, Rick. So I loved it. I loved it. Rick, I have a question for you. Want to hear a little bit more. You said hidden revenue. Unpack that for us. Give us one more example, Rick, of maybe some hidden revenue that people aren't identifying in their company.
Well, first of all, having a better irresistible edge is probably the biggest one. It takes a little more time to invoke because you have to do the research. But once you have that irresistible edge and people are actually, you're being attracting more clients like a magnet, that's going to increase more revenue for you. Another really quick example, I can just demonstrate that really quickly with an example. And this is not going to apply to every business, but a lot of businesses don't realize, they don't even look at their P&L statement. For instance, so I have multiple ways to do it. There's about 40 different strategies. The marketing domination position is number one, but the one that's really key, that really demonstrates a lot of other ways to do that, is if you're doing 10% net profit, for instance, in your business, and that's the average. If you look it up on Google, that's the average net profit most people business are doing. If you increase your prices only by 5%, that increases your profitability by 50%. Same with if you cut your costs. If you cut your costs by 5%, in addition to the 5% increase in your prices, that actually doubles your profitability. Wow. Very, very small changes that you can do. And people say, well, I didn't want to increase my prices because people were going to leave me. Well, there's a good answer to that. A lot of times the customers you don't want, they're the ones that are going to leave you. You have to add additional, you have to provide some additional value for sure. You have to kind of justify it. But a lot of times you're going to end up with customers you probably don't want. And those are the ones that usually complain. And so they're going to complain about a 5% increase. And again, you have to provide some justification for that. But if they're going to leave just because of that, well, then I think you probably want to move on. And I actually gave that advice to another client as well about doing that. They were getting so much business and they were so swamped they couldn't do anything more. I said, just raise your prices and you'll still keep the same revenue. You'll lose some of your clients, but you'll keep the same revenue.
Love it. Thank you so much, Rick. Awesome job. Again, he's got 3 spots at that 25% discount. So the link is in the chat. We're going to move on to Rick, other Rick with Chakra Key. I think he might have, no offense to anybody, he might have the best background out of all this. I don't know. We'll leave that up for debate. But Bree, let's introduce Rick. Great presentation coming up all about Chakra Key. Bree, please go ahead.
Absolutely. I'm excited to bring Rick on. Rick is an author, visionary, and spiritual teacher whose work integrates Eastern wisdom of the chakra system with the menorah of Jewish tradition and a crop circle found sculpted into a field of barley in the UK. Together, these 3 symbols form the chakra key, a symbolic visual aid illustrating the energetic design of the human spiritual being. The time has come to unlock your spiritual superpowers. Welcome to Chakra Key. And Rick, welcome to the stage. We got to ask him to unmute, though.
Sorry about that, Rick. We asked you to unmute there. Go ahead and unmute. There you go. You're all good, Rick. Go ahead, please.
All right. Let me share my screen here. Sharing is not turned on still.
Okay, one moment there. You should be able to now. Please go ahead, Rick.
Okay. Share.
And perfect. We're seeing it. We'll go into present mode.
Okay.
You're all set, Rick.
We're ready? Well, hello, my friends. Again, my name's Rick Ireton, and I have made an amazing discovery that I'm so honored to share with you guys about who we are as a family of human spiritual beings. And what I'm presenting today is basically the evidence to confirm this. And it's something we can all check for ourselves, because what I found is just a map of who we are, and we can now do inventory on ourselves through the chakra system. And so basically, I wrote a book called Chakra Key, A Key for Humanity, and that picture is shows the crop circle, what that looks like. And going to that, this is actually the chakra key in itself, in that it's 3 symbols. It's composed of a person sitting, and the person sitting represents the chakra system, and that's underneath the crop circle. And then the symbol to the right is the menorah of Jewish tradition. And what happens and how I found it, I was researching the chakras, and I was also interested in the 7-branch menorah. And I've been looking at the 2 for like a year. And so at some point, I just turned the menorah sideways, and doing so, the menorah turned into a map showing the relationship between the chakras. And I'll tell you more about that here. And this basically shows that information as far as what it reveals as the divine architecture. I mean, none of this information is of my findings. It's just my noticing, and then I've been thinking about it, praying about it, and writing about it, how it comes to me. It's kind of like if you've got a map and you're giving somebody directions on how to find some place using the map as the guide. So the chakra key is a symbolic visual aid, illustrates our spiritual engineering. It's a visionary graphic of our energetic design. And it integrates two technologies, really, Eastern wisdom of the chakra system with basically Western wisdom of the menorah. And when you put them together, you get some really important information here, shown here. And just to kind of begin, if you're not familiar with the chakras, I mean, a lot of people are never even heard of the concept of chakras, but the chakras has to do with our energy body. And as you can imagine, a computer is a box of components, but there's a software that runs everything. Well, our chakra system is kind of like the software that runs everything. And so really for the first time with this information, we have a way to understand ourselves beyond the physical body, understanding ourselves as an energy body and how we fit into Mother Nature's plan. Even the rainbow and everything fits into who we are. So carrying on, this kind of gives us a picture of our energy body, another picture showing that basically, I'll go through those briefly with you. The root chakra has to do with survival in all of its many forms. Like we really want to survive. And so it's our fundamental program is to survive. Sacral chakra has to do with drive for pleasure and sex. And solar plex is our power center. And then our heart center actually has 3 centers in the heart, so complex. And then our throat chakra is so important. It's really our power. We speak our truth. Brow chakra has to do with our ability to see within, to see without. And then our crown chakra has to do with our connection to the divine, kind of like our spiritual antenna. And the problem is we see the physical body, but we don't see our spiritual body. But life really for us, it's not all about the spiritual body, but most of it is. It's about, how we experience life. Because, if we're not in some kind of pain, we are in some sort of emotional experience of one way or the other. And we control that experience with our thoughts so much. And so really what this chakra key will help you to do is to kind of take inventory on who you are and be able to go into yourself and go into your center heart chakra as an expression, or to be able to recognize your multidimensional nature, basically. And we're kind of, you talk about split personalities, really, we're 9 personalities. We're not just 2. And so understanding yourself in this way is a superpower because you're able to actually come outside of yourself and look at yourself and do some analysis and say, okay, where are you, Rick? Are you happy or sad or whatever? And so basically from that observation, we're able to alter our energy just with our thoughts. And then if we want to make ourselves happy, we can just laugh. And that just shoots energy out of our heart. So the study is so amazing. There's the menorah. It's 7-branch menorah. And then this is turned sideways as a depiction. This shows the crop circle. I think it was 370 feet long. And I began the study in 2002. My objective was, what is love? And that in 2007, I kind of figured out, well, it comes from the heart. It's really probably about the chakra system. In 2008 or 9, I noticed the menorah, and this showed up in 2009, and I wrote the book in 2010. And what this symbol shows us that's so amazing is that while our chakras, the menorah maps relationships between the upper and lower chakras, this symbol shows us how we have these 3 key symbols. We have the lower chakras that spin around the sacral, upper chakras, higher consciousness spins around the brow chakra, and then there's an interconnection between the lower chakras and the lower heart and the upper chakras and the upper heart. And then what's happening as we go through life, we're an expression of love as expressed from the center heart chakra. So when we're happy, our center heart chakra is sending out this beautiful, loving energy. When we're running from the lion or in anxiety, we're this red energy. So we take on the color of our consciousness. I mean, this is a whole new way to look at one another. And that just gives us more of a clearer depiction of what I was just telling you as far as the design of this crop circle, showing us how the body operates. And the concept here is that we're physical beings, and as physical beings, we're primarily running from the physical side of things, and this concept with all this mind. And so when we don't really understand our divine nature, we're not bringing that into the show. And so we pretty much live in our lower chakras. And so the more we understand the lower chakras and what they want, and then we understand love and what's most ideal, and then how we can implement that, we become super powerful because we're not so subject to lower passions. And what you gain from understanding this more of the chakra stuff is that when you get a clarity of purpose, when you kind of figure out the whole game. And part of this game that we figure out is doing this analysis and saying, okay, who am I? What's life about? Knowing that I want to be powerful, what do I want to plant in my life? Because life is about seed planting. It's about communication. The energies we put out into the world come back to us. And so ideally, we're at creative cause over the seeds that we put out into the world. And so to this, I put together, this is kind of a big study. And so I put together in my course, and it's discounted now, but it's got 6 videos that basically cover their informational graphics that cover different topics, from just what are the chakras, how does the crop circle work. And then I also, in my study, found the frequencies for the chakras. And so I do something called a chakra dance. So there's a way you can feel each of your chakras. That's very exciting. And then basically just got a lot of information there. It can be overwhelming, and I'm going to be putting up more information as time goes on. So anyway, thank you for watching and for looking at the chakra key for yourself and seeing what it tells you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you so much. Yes, we put the link to Rick's course up in the chat. Chakra Key, the Divine Blueprint for Life Mastery. Excellent, Rick. So interesting. I love it. I love it. But Michelle was also loving it. She was typing in the chat. Michelle, did you have a question for Rick?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Thank you. I want to learn more. I've always wanted to learn about the chakras. The crop circle, the image, I have heard of them. I have seen simple images that just look like circles, maybe concentric circles. I haven't seen that beautiful, whatever that was. And you're talking about, you teach something to do with the circle? Please explain.
Okay. Well, when I was studying about the chakras, okay, basically I was just studying about love again. And so I noticed the menorah had seven chakras, and there's 7 breaths. So I turned that sideways. I noticed the connection, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then later on, I really wasn't going to do anything just with noticing that. But then when I found that crop circle and I recognized that was another picture of the operation of our energy body, because it shows the 7 centers, only it shows a heart complex that's got 3 centers in it. So in essence, we have these 9 primary centers. And with each center, you can actually feel it with your hands. I also found the precise frequency for each chakras. And so when your body is in the presence of that frequency, it rings a bell. It activates the chakra to a point where you can feel it. You can feel the energy, a subtle energy with your hands. And so, what that really provides us really is this evidence, because you can turn it off and turn that these chakras exist. We're multidimensional beings, and that we're so powerful. And we have this new way to use our imagination, because really we are the result of imagination, our life in some form. And so the more we understand the possibilities of our imagination, and then we tap into, well, what do I really want to imagine? What do I want to create? I want to create things that are loving, and I want to turn people on so they can tap into their hearts, so their essence of how they want to show up in the world, how they want to have their effect, or it's this new way to dream and then to empower your dream. And there's a lot of really important stuff I didn't mention here. So I'd love to chat with you more or take the course and I dig more into it. But we're complex, beautiful, wonderful, and divine.
And divine.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah.
Thank you. Priceless. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Michelle. And great. It's just amazing the breadth and depth and all the amazing information on the summit today. I'm just so impressed with all the speakers. Rick, awesome presentation. Love the slides, love the visuals. Beautiful. I just think it's great.
Yeah, well, my honor, Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful information. I think we're gonna transition over to Evan Mestman. Evan has some really powerful information to share as well. Known Evan for a long time. Genius at what he does. And Bree's got her flower crown on. How do I do that?
I'm ready to celebrate a birthday boy. So
oh my God, birthday
Happy
boy.
birthday, Evan.
Could we do the 42 people birthday song?
No, we are not
No, we're
doing
not.
that. And I am not leading that either. But Evan isn't a nutritionist who stumbled into coaching. He's a leadership strategist who realized the boardroom and the kitchen demand the same thing: decisive action from a clear mind. After helping thousands of leaders reclaim their edge, Evan built the Better Bite Buddy, his playbook in your pocket, and I use it and I love it. No shame, no noise, just clarity when it matters most. He's going to be sharing about how you can silence your inner critic. Please welcome Evan to the stage.
Well, thank you. Let me share my screen. Let's see if we're allowed. There we go. Super. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that we all have. Let me turn this into presentation mode. Okay, so what if your success is costing you your health? Everybody that I've worked with, all the hundreds of business executives and leaders that I've worked with have climbed that ladder to success, and they thought they had to leave their health on the bottom rung. They did it, and what I do is I take them back up to the top rung before they fall off altogether. And the idea here is that I do it 3 different ways. I do it by helping them lose weight with their minds, not their mouths. And that's the weight on their shoulders, not just around their middle. I help them be intentional with their health, but more importantly, and what I'm going to focus on today, is I help them tame their inner critic. Everybody in here has an inner critic. I promise. Because this morning, my inner critic spoke up. I did not want to get out of bed this morning. When that alarm went off, that inner critic said, "Oh, just go back for a few minutes." Did that happen to anybody else today? Right? That's the first start of an inner critic. Now, part of what you need to do is be able to understand the inner critic, how it was designed, and what you need to do to silence it or tame it and help develop your inner coach, because that's going to help you reclaim your energy, your confidence and control. And the purpose of this talk is so that if you think about taking better care of yourself, these private victories that I love that all the speakers have been talking about is taking really care of yourself internally and understanding, becoming more aware. And that leads to a major transformation and amazing things. And that's what I'm going to talk about. But I want you to imagine all of these voices that are in your head. All of these voices are voices. These are from your belief system.
Hey, bro, I'm in a Zoom. I'll call you right back, okay?
People are going to be hearing these voices, and the voices will say things that you think is you. But part of the challenge is that it's not you. Who is the voice and who are you? I'm going to help you understand that, because those voices, you might hear voices that are extremely negative. And by default, most voices are negative. 75% by default are negative, and the negatives tend to ruminate. What I want you to think about, though, is what if you could take that negativity and use it to fuel a reframe and create a more positive perspective in your mind. One that says, instead of being negative, it says, you know what? You can do the things you want to do. Because the one thing we do, one person mentioned procrastination. Well, yeah, we procrastinate not because we don't want to do it. It's because our inner critics are challenging us. They're keeping us safe. Those voices were designed to protect us, but they're doing a really lousy job of it. Voices that might say things like, you should have figured this out by now. Or you might hear it say, oh, I don't have time. Like one of my clients told me, I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to shop. I don't have time to exercise. But now she's 75 pounds down and she has her A1C down from 14.1 to 6.7, which means she has better blood sugar control and she's living her best life. What if you always hear that voice saying you always mess this up? Well, you don't have to listen to these voices. I'm going to teach you how. But first, I wanted to share my story. When I was a kid, my nickname was Heavy Evie, but I believed when I walked into a room that I was too big, I was too slow. I just didn't fit in. And I really thought that those voices in my head were me. Until one day, because I didn't want to be Heavy Evie anymore, I looked in the mirror and said, you know what? I don't have anybody here to save me. I'm going to have to make these changes. And I went through a summer where I made some changes, just ordinary habit changes. And it led to a transformation that I've been reverse engineering my whole life. I wanted to figure out if I could help myself, how could I help all the other people that I've worked with? And I decided to go to school for this. I went pre-med, but didn't want to be a doctor, didn't want to be a psychologist. And when I found nutrition, all of a sudden it was, this is exactly what I wanted to do. But I still had that inner critic in my head, that inner critic that was constantly berating me in the boardroom, at my presentations, working with my teams, until I discovered how to silence it. And when I did, that's when my business took off. I spent 20 years in corporate America in sales, in management, and then in leadership. And what I learned after being in corporate America was that it sucks the joy out of everything that you do, but it doesn't do it intentionally. So I want to bring more mojo back to the corporate world. And the way that we do that is we learn who your inner critic is and understand that it's an older survival mechanism. If you think about the lizard brain, the amygdala is this fight or flight response that happens when we were thousands of years ago living in a cave and we put our heads out and said, oh, look at what a beautiful sunrise it was. Those cavemen didn't survive because they got eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. Or the ones that went out and looked at, oh, what a beautiful sunset. When the warring tribe that was coming to take over killed them, he didn't survive. So it's part of our genetics, our human genetics, but we're not just humans. As Rick mentioned, I believe we're spiritual beings living in a human body, having a human existence, in this duality between the comfort zone, which is what our inner critics are trying to do, is protect you and keep you safe, versus our spiritual being, our divine being, saying, hey, if you don't do these things, you're never going to grow and learn what your true purpose is, and you're not going to have agency. That is really where the magic happens when you work with the two of these. You don't want the inner critic being the CEO of your life, right? You don't want it running the show. You don't want it pushing you harder, burning you out. You want to lose yourself with that actual noise. What we want to do is identify the inner critic first. Now, I have a quiz, Discover Your Inner Critic, on that's free, a free course, but the course that I'm sharing with you today is going to help you not just identify your inner critic, it's going to help you tame it. And here are a few of them. The perfectionist maestro is the one that says, I've got it. I'm going to do it because nobody can do it better than me. It's got to be perfect or it's not done. The wanderlust adventurer, you'll never see them behind a desk because they're always getting bored. They never can sit still or do the same thing. The overdrive samurai, the one who is always externally motivated. They get a win, and guess what? They're on to the next win and the next win. They can never just be satisfied with who they are. Logic mastermind. Think of Spock, right? Spock said, emotions, I don't have anything to do with that. Everything has to be logical. The comfort seeker, the one who wants to keep it safe. You know what? I want to avoid conflict. Always staying in the comfort zone. And the detail deacon is similar to the perfectionist maestro, but what the perfectionist maestro differs here is the detail deacon keeps his or her head on the details and misses the big vision and the big picture. Wow. What do you do to stop the noise? Well, first you got to recognize it. Let's point it out. Hey, that's the inner critic. Then we take and we reframe what that inner critic is saying to you. Because what the inner critic is saying is really trying to keep you in your comfort zone. And it's doing a lousy job of protecting you. It was designed when you were up to the age of 7, when your identity was tied to your parents. And all of a sudden you started to develop your own identity, but you weren't developed enough here to really make an understanding that, hey, my parents did things that may not have been great, like some of what happened with me. I come from trauma in my past, but that trauma, when you're processing it, you shoot for blame. And then you also process as shame instead of really truly understanding that, hey, I'm a parent. We're all human. We all make mistakes. But this is how the inner critics are created. And then we need to replace with that reframe a change in behavior, because you're now driven differently, understanding that, hey, I'm not going to listen to that inner critic, but who are you going to listen to? You're going to listen to that voice that is the witness, the voice inside of you, not the all those separate voices, but the one that hears the voices. That's you. That's the inner coach. It's the one that can witness everything, but it's the one inside that's curious, courageous. And I want you to meet your inner critic right now. I'm not seeing the timer, so how much time do we have left?
Perfect instincts, Evan. We are
There
right
you go. So when you listen to your inner coach, your world's going to change. So what I'm doing right now is I'm offering you the way to quiet the noise and trust yourself again. A 21-day from chaos to clarity. This 21-day challenge has videos and easy steps that are 1 or 2 minutes that you practice each day, so that within that, by that end of that 21 days, you are going to tame that inner critic.
And we have it in the chat for everybody. Evan, fantastic presentation.
Thank
Excellent,
you.
excellent. We're going to open it up for questions for Evan. If you're interested in silencing that inner critic, well, we have his product on TGD. Remember, first log in. Guys, we're seeing people purchase products. We're seeing people take advantage of all the deals and all the offers. Thank you so much for supporting the creators and the people. I know they really appreciate it. And it's really powerful information. It's going to make a big difference in your life. And I know that everyone who does make a purchase, I'm sure the creators will reach out and connect with you afterwards. So thank you so much for doing that. Let's open it up for questions for Evan. We have some time on the clock. Any questions for Evan? Raise your hand on Zoom, raise it on Zoom, and then we can go over to you. Any questions for Evan? And happy birthday, Evan. Guys, happy birthday. He's going to be doing one of the most amazing birthday trips ever. Hiking up Mount Machu
Picchu.
That's a hard one. Machu Picchu. I'm really excited for it. I gotta hear all about that. But any questions for Evan? Dr. Sky. Dr. Sky. Let's get a question and we'll go to Michelle. Go ahead, Dr. Sky. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Happy birthday, first and foremost. I'm also an October birthday.
Thank you.
I appreciate your energy. And where would you categorize? I really appreciated that visual regarding the wanderer and, the perfectionist. If we could bring that chart back up, because I am a visual person.
Sure.
Yeah, can we pull that back up?
We can do that pretty quick.
That's just 6 of them. There are 10.
Yeah. I am a visionary And I have a spiritual gift due to my Christianity, faith, religion, and belief in Jesus Christ, Evan. I have a spiritual gift. I have the ability of connections. Where would I fit in? It doesn't quite fulfill that. What are the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? What are the other 4? And is there a visionary connection type of person in the other 4? And thank you.
It's a great question. These are the inner critics. So what you're tapping into is the inner coach.
Yes.
And so the inner coach, each one of these inner critics has an inner coach opposite or counter. So which one do you, because everybody has an inner critic, can you relate to who your inner critic is related? Like which one speaks loudly to you?
I am a very much goal-oriented person. In fact, I could take off social media, forever in terms of priorities. That's where I am. So
like if you're focused on growth and you always you're driven, that would be the overdrive samurai. Okay. And your inner coach would be the growth advocate.
Yes.
And so part of what I do in the 21 day, in this one, but with my coaching, is that I help you develop your inner coach. Those qualities that are part of the inner coach are all qualities that we have. And those are based in I don't know if are you familiar with IFS, internal family systems?
I am.
So that is incorporated into my program also.
Excellent. Excellent.
Michelle,
one last
Michelle
question.
Is
Here
up.
you go, Michelle. We'll ask you to unmute. There you go, Michelle. You can unmute. Short question, please.
Okay, yes. I am fascinated and trying to explain to the people I support the connection between the inner critic, which comes from programming from external influences, and illness, and the way your body manifests that internal criticism, that negative messaging that persists, and it changes who you are. It changes your cells, your bloodstream, your heart, everything about your being. And I'm interested in learning more about this. Yes.
So that's a great point. A psychologist and a mindfulness teacher, her name is Tara Brach, Dr. Tara Brach, and she says the body is the anchor to the precious present. And when you listen to your body, it's your first step towards being compassionate and allowing you to tap into your inner coach. And that, I think, is truly important. So many people don't realize that pain is the body signal. You need to listen to it rather than ignore it.
Love it.
Thank you, Evan.
Well, thank you, Evan. Awesome information. Thank you so much for doing this on your birthday. This is family, though. We're so pleased that you shared it with us. So happy birthday, Evan. Hope
Thank you.
The best year ever. So congratulations on a great speech. Congratulations on a great and another birthday. Okay.
We're
going to go to Jody Lemieux. Jody's one of my favorite people. She has such an interesting presentation for us today. So tell us a little bit more about what Jody has for us.
Well, ever feel like your words don't fully capture who you are? Master Speaking Truth from the Soul helps you align your language with your heart so that you can communicate with ease, honesty, and connection. It's time to speak the truth only your soul knows. Jody is the spiritually aligned CEO of Divine Light Consultants. Please welcome Jody to the stage.
Thank you so much, Bree. It's so good to see everyone. My name is Jody Lemieux, and the art of speaking truth from your soul is a passion of mine, and I'm here to share it with you because of the importance of what you've been hearing today, the inner self of who we truly are. And so I would like to share with you a little bit about myself. All of my life, I felt most alive at the edges, sitting at beaches at dawn, in airport lounges, and in the quiet spaces between one decision and the next. These shores are where my nervous system relaxes, where inspiration pours through, and where I can hear my soul speak. Perhaps you felt it too, Then a moment comes when you know there's something inside you trying to be heard, but your words never come out right. Or you feel misunderstood because they don't match the truth of what you feel on the inside. That's where my story begins. For many years, I did what so many of us do. I said what people wanted to hear. I smiled. I nodded to keep the peace. But my body was telling a different story. My words left a bitter taste, literally, and my emotions felt louder than my voice. One day, at the edge of a big life decision, I finally stopped. I listened, and I realized my soul was whispering all along. The truth I was seeking outside of me was actually within me, waiting to be spoken and with grace. That moment changed everything. It was my first real experience mastering awareness, noticing subtle cues, naming my pain, and seeing how every word I spoke shaped my reality. I began to see language differently. Every word is literal. Every not statement, can't, don't, won't, is a complaint in disguise. And to be in wanting of something is to continue to never have it. And this creates frustration. Every subtle difference between the words if and the word when shifts your future. Our words more than describe our lives, they create them. They change your physical chemistry, your relationships, and your outcomes. And most importantly, they reveal how you feel on the inside. Once I understood this, there was no going back to speaking on autopilot. My husband and I began implementing this technique, and our relationship changed. We learned to read subtle cues. We learned to speak honesty without blame. We chose words to heal rather than harm. And our connection deepened because instead of feeling as if we had to be perfect, we were authentic. We realized people, couples, leaders, entrepreneurs, all of us are craving this skill. We're craving a way to speak truth from the soul without losing connection. That's why I created the art of speaking truth from your soul. This is more than a course. It's a living roadmap. In it, in the 6 lessons, you will learn to tune into subtle cues, learn language nuances so you know what's really happening beneath the surface. You'll uncover the hidden power of words and transform language patterns, navigate conflict with love instead of fear. You're going to learn to speak from your heart in a way that creates authentic soul-level connections. It's the same journey I took, only faster, with guidance and support. If something is stirring inside of you right now, that's your soul speaking. This summit is more than a talk, it's a doorway. And if you feel called to step through it, I would love to talk with you. Join me in the art of speaking truth from your soul, because together we'll reveal the truth your soul already knows, guiding you to trust your voice, speak with authenticity, create relationships, and a life that feels free, real, and vibrantly alive. Because when you speak from the soul, you transform more than conversations, you transform your life.
Wow. I love it, Jody. Amazing, amazing. I know a
Thank
lot of people
you.
are connecting with that. That is awesome. That is awesome. Guys, we have to have some questions for Jody. Thank you for sharing that and just really, really powerful. So much to learn from that. So Me and Jody have talked about, I share a passion for words just like Jody. I mean, she's so any questions for Jody? I just love what she does. So I want to hear some questions. Any questions for Jody? Anybody raise your hand in the chat? Jeffrey, Lynn, Gray, Beverly. Excellent. Love it. Love it. And we'll restart the timer because we got a couple questions. Want to give Jody all the time she can. Left a little bit extra time for questions, which I love. So let's go to Jeffrey first. We'll ask you to unmute. Jeffrey, do you have a question for Jody?
What you teach us help you get more in tune with that inner voice, that soul? Because I know that I've been going through a lot of transformation right now, and a lot of things been happening. They would probably say it's woo-woo, but do you kind of help tap into that so you can actually receive those messages more and like clearer?
I am so grateful that you asked this, because what the art of speaking truth is tapping into your throat chakra. And this is exactly what Rick was talking about. When you feel your soul coming through, your language changes. It's a divine message rather than the program of conversation from the patterns and habits from your past. And so guiding yourself, so this is a self-led course. And this is why I designed it the way I did in these 6 lessons, because I want to empower you rather than you relying on me. And so I'm going to teach you a little bit of strategies and how to feel your language coming through rather than allowing the programs to override your soul's conversation. So,
I picked on the message of the throat chakra. Is it a sensation of like having a cough and stuff, it being trying to express yourself? Because I do get that a lot right now.
Okay, so yes, as we've been talking about during the summit, our physical body is showing symptoms of either something you're emotionally either suppressing or something your soul is getting you to come forth. So yes, coughing could be a symptom, but also it's recognizing your own voice coming through may feel different in a moment, but when you feel the difference, your whole body relaxes. So there's no more coughing. So the coughing for me is the transition from the old patterns to the new.
Okay, I do sense that resonates. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
And Jody, I did put your course in the chat, The Art of Speaking Truth from Your Soul. She put so much care and attention into all of her courses, so highly encourage you to check that out. It's in the chat. If you want, you can purchase it. Remember to log into the Great Discovery. You can purchase it. Incredible. Let's go to Lynn Sanders, please.
Jody, that was so beautiful. I almost wanted to cry because both your words were like poetry and your images are gorgeous. I'm wondering if you've written a book about this, or if you wanted even to share just briefly a little story of some of your clients having transformation from your program.
Oh, thank you so much, Lynn, for encouraging me to write a book. I have yet to write a book about this, but you're like the 5th person who has asked me about a book. So maybe this is my little nudge. So one brief story is a gentleman whom I had worked with. He is, I'd say, early 50s. And he came to me and he said, in high school and college, I was a very high academic and I could read texts beautifully, take exams, and retain information. But now as an adult, I'm having a really hard time recalling information. I'll read one page and I just don't know what I read. So if you slow down to hear what I said, his words were, I don't know what I just read. So every not is a complaint in disguise. So he was saying he doesn't know. So he was turning off his intuition and his access to his wisdom of his divine self in order to retrieve the information. So training him to recognize first what he was saying and going, okay, rather than saying, I don't know, I'm becoming aware, or I'm beginning to realize. The word realize is to see with your real eyes.
Excellent. Thank you.
So that's one story. You're welcome.
All right, let's go to Beverly.
I had one question. When are you writing this book, Jody? That was my question. So write your book.
Yeah.
And if you need help, I'll help you.
Okay,
And
thank
so
you.
will Lynn. So there you go. Write your book.
Awesome.
Great
Let's go
presentation.
to Michelle. Michelle, go ahead.
I'm fascinated by this too. The richness of these presentations is it's just getting better and better. The difference between the voice you speak when you are really speaking from your conscious mind versus what flows from the soul and is trying to get your attention, it's hard to discern the difference. I was just talking to a friend about this yesterday. I believe in trying to strengthen my intuition. I think that's a woman's superpower. But how do you discern the difference between I really should do that, and that consideration might come from some past history, something that happened to you earlier in life. It may not be your soul at all. So how do you know the difference? And is there trained for that?
Yes. So as Evan has told, excuse me, shared with us about being the witness, it's witnessing what you're saying. You're already claiming it's hard. It's hard to know the difference. So it first starts with your awareness of what you're actually saying and believing about yourself, that life's hard, it's hard, what is it? So it's really allowing yourself to witness your language, because the language of our programming gets us to go, do I really believe this about who I am? Because I am a superpower. I'm this amazing divine being having this amazing human experience. However, there is this physical 3D body that's slow. So our divine self is so brilliant and powerful. And so it's allowing yourself to witness this language coming through and saying, oh, there you are. And forgiving yourself by thanking it. And people really have a challenging time with the phrase, thank you, anger, for showing me love.
Yes, yes.
Because in everything, love is always there.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Got to learn more from you.
You're welcome.
Well, you can by purchasing Jody's incredible course, which is linked in the chat, The Art of Speaking Truth for Your Soul.
Michelle, did you have a second question?
No, I'm just saying I already bought it.
Oh, thank you. Wonderful. And it's a special right now for a week, so it's 20% off.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, yep. We got it in the chat. That's the link. Go to the chat, get it right there. Thank you so much, Jody. Let's
You're
go.
welcome.
Powerful information. I loved it. As always, we have Debbie Hayes coming up. Amazing speaker. She's going to be telling us a little bit about mushrooms. Very interesting. So Bree, could you please introduce our next speaker, Debbie Hayes?
I'd love to. I love Debbie. She's awesome. You guys are going to love this. If you are a pet lover, if you want to have some better health, Debbie is a lover of animals. She's the owner of the World of Pets podcast. So she's a fellow podcaster. She talks all things pets, and she's the owner of Deb's Pets. She promotes immune support pets and humans. She's a big proponent of veteran support nonprofits and animal rights groups. I am so privileged to be able to welcome Debbie to the stage.
All right, everybody, thank you. And wow, the power of the Coriolis versicolor mushroom is really unbelievable. Do you know, if you looked at a veterinary textbook 50 years ago and looked at one today, as far as the longevity of breeds of animals, you would find that 50 years ago, they lived 2 times longer. So that one statistic should tell us that we're not doing something right by our animals. So I'd like to tell you Zenta's story. Zenta was a 14-and-a-half-year-old husky. Quite frankly, she was a hot mess. Her paw pads were peeling, hair just coming out in chunks, the size of your fist, growth on her back. She was diagnosed with autoimmune disease. She couldn't stand to be touched. She would cower under the table. She didn't want the other dogs bumping into her. She didn't even want her mom and dad petting her. So no surprise, when she went to the vet said, You've given her a great life, and you don't have to be sorry. There's time to say goodbye. They actually made the appointment, but they took her home that day. Some friends came over and said, would you be open to giving her some medicinal mushrooms? When they found out that the mushrooms were not psychedelic, because they didn't want that, they said, sure. So the first few days, they thought, you know, she really likes these biscuits that have the mushrooms in them. And so they gave her a lot. They figured she wasn't going to be around very long. The fourth day, she jumped on the couch. She hadn't jumped on the couch in like a year and a half. So not only that, she stood there like, Dad, why aren't you petting me? And he did pet her, and she was able to tolerate it. She didn't have that sensitivity that she had been having. Zenta lived for 4.5 years after that. And she went off of all of her vet prescribed medication. She was taking the mushrooms. And it wasn't just because they couldn't stand to say goodbye. She was living the best life. She'd lay on the floor, the grandkids would crawl all over her. She was fine with that. She went swimming. She'd go on 5-mile hikes. So she was almost 19 when she died. Next slide, please. So how did we get here where we had this phenomenal stuff to offer to Zenta? Well, we have to go back a number of years to a fellow named Michael, who's one of the co-founders of this company, and his mother, who was going for treatment at Sloan Kettering in New York. I think she had 3 phases, and the first phase ended up with her having part of one of her lungs removed. Then she started having the symptoms again. So she went back, and this time, phase 2, they told her, sorry, you've got polyps on both lungs. There's nothing we can do. Go home and enjoy your family. So Simon was calling relatives, telling about his mom's prognosis. And he called his cousin in Japan, who said, oh my gosh, we've been having these phenomenal results with this Coriolis versicolor mushroom. I have some pills I'm going to send you. Make sure that she takes them. And mind you, this is just a mushroom. So not something that's, you know, funky in any way. So she started feeling better. And of course, she thought it was just her imagination. But getting better, she finally outlived the amount of time that Sloan Kettering had told her that she would be around. Obviously a positive thing. And finally, she decided phase 3, she better go back again and see what they said this time. So this time, after they examined her, took x-rays, whatever, they sat down with her and said, what are you doing different medically? And she goes, oh, my nephew in Japan, he's sending me some mushroom pills I'm taking. And the doctor said, I want to know everything that you can tell me or that you can find out about those pills. Your lungs are clear. We're talking about stage 3 or stage 4. And after taking these mushroom pills, they were clear. So fast forward again a few years, Simon's in a room with 3 of his friends, and they're lamenting the fact that in the past year, between them, the 4 sitting there, plus their adult children, they had had 4 dogs that had died of cancer. Obviously, again, we're back to the living twice as long. You know, something is not right about what we're doing for our pets. So somebody said, Simon, why can't we put that mushroom that your mom was taking in a dog biscuit or a pet biscuit? And that's what they did. And that's how Zenta ended up having the privilege. And she might have even been the first customer, but one of the first customers. And she had that result. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this does allow the body to heal itself. So Zenta wasn't the only positive testimonial. There were lots of others with the animals. So guess what? The adults are going, wait a minute, what about me? What about us? We want these too. So the company did start offering the pills. And Zenta's mom was one of those. She was actually diagnosed with 5 autoimmune diseases. And she had been told by numerous doctors, you're going to be on this medication, that medication, whatever, for as long as you live. So she started taking the pill, of course, as soon as it was available. And it's now been over 7 years. She's on no more doctor prescribed medication, still takes the mushrooms, of course. And she used to have some really bad issues, like just wearing out. So she just couldn't do anything and had to go to bed. And one time for 6 weeks, if you can imagine. So now she's got a job that she'll work multiple long hours, longer than a regular day, plus be on her feet a lot. And she's good with that. She's not having any issues. Next slide, please. So I tell people, be careful what you ask for, because I always wanted to have my own success story. Well, not necessarily this way. About 6 weeks ago, I fell down 2 stairs and cracked the back of my head open on the floor. So, like I said, that wasn't really the way I wanted to get a success story. But that night, I called Gail and Kurt, Zenta's parents, and they're my mentors. And I was telling them about the stupid fall I had taken. And they're like, oh, how's your headache? And I'm like, I don't have a headache. Well, what about that pressure that you get behind your eyes, when you have a head injury? I don't have that either. In fact, I don't have anything except for the fact that where I hit my head is sensitive and I'm tired. I figured that was logical. So the only supplement that I was taking was the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. So I really attribute to the fact that that saved me a lot of discomfort. And it shows that there's a variety of things that the mushroom can allow the body to heal itself from. So we are changing the way pets and humans are treating their immune systems. Next slide. And that's causing a better quality of life for pets and for humans. So my course is generally $4.99. It's on sale today for 20% off to the first 3 people that buy it. And what you're going to learn from that is why the Coriolis versicolor mushroom is so powerful. So there are some general things, and then there's also the fact that the company really works toward having it be the premier in the Coriolis versicolor line. Thank you for your time. What questions can I answer?
Debbie, thank you so much for the presentation. Her course is in the chat. We have to keep it moving along. So unfortunately, we don't have time for questions. With the technical difficulty, we ran a little bit behind, but we're really happy that you got your slides in. You're able to go over it. But take the course, and then Debbie can reach out and answer any questions. Really cheap, $3.99, powerful information. Link is in the chat, but we're going to move on to our next speaker, Sharon Ralph. So Sharon Ralph is going to be our next speaker. Bree, could you please introduce? We got Sharon Ralph, Queen of Courage. Looking forward to this. Please, Bree, go ahead.
I love it. Sharon is, for most of her life, Sharon felt invisible. And when retired, she wondered, how'd she know if she was productive? Today, she's a motivating influencer at 77 and is the perfect person to help others matter outside of work, live meaningfully, impact life with wisdom and confidence, and find their inner spark. From her behavioral science perspective, Sharon loves to introduce people to the best version of themselves. In the 5-module course, Discover Your Spark and Rekindle Your Joy. So excited to welcome Sharon to the stage.
Yep, there you go, Sharon, go ahead.
Do you see my screen?
We do see your screen. Yep, we see the email right now. So you need to go to your slides.
Okay. Oh, I shared my different screen then. There we go. Oh, can you see it now?
Give it a second. Yes, we can. Go into present mode. Yep. There you go. Go ahead, Sharon.
Oh, thank you. All right. What's missing besides your paycheck when you're in retirement? When your paycheck is missing, so is your team, your task, your title too. And in 2025, baby boomers are wanting holistic retirement and planning. And this includes the family and health and purpose. And any change in these areas can have a huge impact. And your transition needs to include all aspects of your job, career, business. So much goes missing. Becoming intentional about this bigger planning process can make your retirement the greatest adventure. And here's some examples. Besides your paycheck, in what way are you going to replace your sense of contribution, your relationships in the tribe or colleagues you worked with, your sense of meaning and involved in something larger than yourself, your sense of engagement and feeling alive from your accomplishments, your sense of joy and gratitude. Too often, when retirement planning only covers your financial aspects, these emotional issues can cause boredom, depression, physically home but mentally or emotionally absent, brain fog that turns into guesswork, and addictive behavior and or social media distractions that are just the opposite of being your greatest adventure in retirement. I'm Sharon. I'm a behavioral scientist who turned into a retirement coach from Edmonds, Washington. For years, I wanted to be invisible because of the trauma at home. And it impacted my whole career, my relationships, but never my health. I was introverted and quiet, scared of my own voice and greatness. Then I discovered something that reconnected me with my long lost inner wisdom and rekindled my relationship with myself. So now I teach others how to know themselves better, discover their deep inner wisdom, and live vibrantly alive in something that feels a bit like heaven on earth. If you'd like to have these same results, if this is you, we need to talk. Now, my big dream is to impact 10% of the baby boomers by inspiring them to repurpose their free time and inner wisdom to strengthen our communities, and by living their inner spark, unleash their potential to help heal the world. Why? Because potential has always been a hot button for me, even since I was a teenager. So on my platform, I offer 6 tools for you, all focused on providing resources and solutions to help boomers use their free time to unleash their potential, find a new purpose, and rejuvenate their life with meaning and fulfillment. Now, I retired and started coaching classes at the same time. In that first weekend class, we crafted our essence statement, which I now call my spark. Using the things we loved to do, our aspirations, our values, our hot buttons, and guiding principles, and we defined really what matters to me, using our inner wisdom. Now, in the Great Discovery, in Discovering Your Spark, Rekindle Your Joy, I recreated for you in 5 modules this journey of self-discovery, so you too can access your inner wisdom to become inner directed. We provide you with a exercise workbook and with room to journal and reflect, that vital tools for helping to know yourself. And an add-on option is to join my Discover Your Spark Club on Facebook to help deepen your alignment and your actions with your true self in a weekly coaching mastermind. As we wrapped up this exercise with my classmates, we stood in a circle to share with each other our essence or spark statement for the first time. And as it came my turn, time stood still for a moment. And this is what it felt like somebody had asked me to define my soul. And this is what I shared. I am precious jewel of wisdom. I am colorful collaborator, motivator, and learner. I am tranquil, authentic, and pure inspirer. I light fires. About 3 months later, I started wondering, how would I know if I was productive? There's no boss to please anymore. And that's when I revisited my essence statement. I had it on a wall hanging behind me in those days, and I read it 3 times in one day. And when it dawned on me that when I lived from my core, every day felt right, because it's what mattered to me. Knowing yourself is becoming critical in this age of AI. The confidence you gain from knowing what you're here to contribute creates a powerful sense of confidence. Knowing yourself better allows you to let go of self-doubt, overcome your fears, form better relationships, improve your emotional intelligence, learn to accept who you really are, know what you're here to contribute, and it clarifies your purpose, the secret glue in retirement. Now, this is kind of a side note, but I like this slide because keep being curious, and you will remain young at heart and mind. A curious person seldom gets bored. There's always something new to learn, to know, and to explore or fix. Life for a curious person is always interesting and exciting. So the next step through this transformative resource, you learn to love yourself in a powerful new way. Find it easier to be seen, heard, and understood. So let's ignite your spark, because you are valued and you still matter. I've unveiled the untapped treasures hiding in plain sight within each person's soul. When someone discovers their authentic spark, they stop settling for invisible and start living like the treasure they've always been. Discover Your Spark, Rekindle Your Joy is my signature system on the Great Discovery platform. Thank you.
Wow. Great job, Sharon. I'm going to put the link to her program, Discover Your Spark, Rekindle Your Joy, in the chat. It's right there. Sharon, excellent job. Thank you so much. We have some time for some questions, so I would love any questions for Sharon. Any questions for Sharon? Any questions for Sharon? Well, Sharon, I love the information. One of the things that you said, Sharon, was, in AI, right? It's so important to know yourself. And that really stood out to me. Can you maybe say just a little bit more about that point? I mean, this is so important. Just maybe unpack that a little bit more for us. What did you mean by that? And tell us more.
Well, I see like, especially when you're going in for a new job interview, that you can get all kinds of data logic stuff from AI, but you can't replace a spirit. You can't replace somebody that's reliable and have integrity and have inspiration and creativity. You know, AI might get to being innovative and creative, but the spirit of you, how easy it is to get along with your coworkers, or how when you are, just like I said, I am a precious jewel of wisdom, colorful collaborator. That's my inside spirit and what I flows from me. And AI can't talk to those things.
So true. Love that. That's powerful.
Yeah, it's very different. I was going to mention that the other courses that I have, one is What Makes Your Heart Sing. It's like 48 ideas that, as simple as improving the roundabout in your neighborhood or touching the water in 7 oceans. We need sometimes some inspiration for dreaming again when we're in retirement.
Well, excellent. You can find those on The Great Discovery. Go to The Great Discovery, then click on our profile, and you can find some more courses by Sharon. Sharon, thank you so much for sharing. Awesome presentation, awesome information. Our next speaker, so excited to introduce her. You guys are going to love this one. It is by Valerie and Bree. Oh my gosh. Bree's got the glasses on. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So Valerie is a midlife empowerment coach, speaker, and the founder of Transformation in Action, also known as the Crone Goddess. In this presentation, she'll introduce her 6-week private coaching experience, Get Your Sexy Back and Beyond, designed to help women in midlife reclaim their confidence, sensuality, and personal power. This is more than a mindset work. It's a soul-led journey back to the where sexy means feeling vibrant, visible, and unapologetically whole. Please welcome Valerie to the stage.
Thank you. Can I share my slide?
Yes, you can. Go ahead. Try now.
You got it?
We got it. Looks great.
And thank you and good evening from the UK. So it's just after 8 o'clock here. And I'm happy to present my Get Your Sexy Back little nugget of information. So the first thing I'd want to ask you, and without thinking too much, what does sexy mean to you? That word, sexy. What's it mean? Put it in the chat. And now I want you to think about, is it the same thing that you thought 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago? And if it's different, why is it different? What makes that word sexy change as we move through life? Now, I work with midlife women, and primarily midlife women sort of have that image of sexy being youthful, being curvaceous, being having that spark, even swinging from the chandeliers, something like that. That word sexy. But one of the things I found that's an external view. That's an image that's come to us, that's been presented throughout our lives. And then when we get to midlife, for some unknown reason, it changes. And we might not think about that sexy in terms of how you look and how you feel and how it empowers you. Now think about somebody that you would perceive as sexy. How do they present themselves? Are they humped over? Do they drag their feet? Do they look tired? No, they don't. Sexy comes from inside. It's not an external thing, it's from the inside. And how you present yourself is what really the word sexy means. So if we think about it, let's lose the sex bit because somehow we focus on the sex bit. I'm not saying it's not important because it is. But we've got to think about it from the inside out. You see, as you're walking down the street, somebody who's confident, walking upward, they know themselves. And that's when I talk about sexy. Now, this is me. A midlife empowerment coach, a Crone goddess advocate, a regional director of a global woman club, an author, public speaker. But if you notice, what's in bold? Me. That's what I'm talking about. It's the me that we tend to lose as we go into midlife. We have that focus on other things. But for me, we have to focus on what midlife means. Now, I've worn the t-shirts, sold the t-shirts, still wearing the t-shirts as I've hit my midlife. And I've actually worn masks, many masks, as a lot of us do. We have that mask that we hide behind because for some reason, as we go into midlife, we start to feel invisible, feel like we're on the shelf, left behind. And if this isn't controversial, what about those wolf whistles that we sort of miss out on all the time that we used to have them back in the day? Somehow, women have lost that spark. And there's a number of reasons why we've lost that spark as we've traveled along our journey. Because we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten how much we mean to ourselves because we've actually put everything and everybody else first. You're either the wife, the mother, the caregiver, the boss, the taxi driver, the housekeeper, sex goddess as well, everything to everyone. But what we've got to think about, who's the me? Who am I? Because that is actually the most important label. Who am I? Most importantly, who am I right now? So we need to drop those labels of the past. So in my 6 weeks program, I look at it in first week is thinking about who are you? You need to find out who you are. Can you tell me who you are? Have you given yourself that label of this is my role? That's who I am. That's my identity. I used to be a senior lecturer. And when I was in employment, it was like, oh, who are you? I'm a senior lecturer. Well, that's not really me. So my question to you, who are you? Can you actually answer the question? And can you stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself that question, looking yourself straight in the eye and be able to come up with that honest answer? Part of my program, as I developed it, it is over 6 weeks. The first week is about your identity, reclaiming that identity, losing the ones that society has put on us, making sure that we strip away all the things that we no longer serves us. If you're a midlife woman, there's so much going on in your life, but it's time to put yourself first. So we need to look at reclaiming our identity. Week 2, others have spoken about the inner critic. And the inner critic brings up self-doubt. That's where you start questioning yourself. Can I wear this? Can I wear that? Does it make a difference? You know, you start looking at yourself in a different way, not appreciating actually who you actually are now in the present moment, because you spend that time with those labels. So we need to build our mental resilience. We need to quieten the noise and listen. I haven't said that in a coach that can actually tell you who you are, that supports you, that lets go of those labels that we had. We need to listen to that voice and take charge. We need to think about taking charge, letting go of all it. Now, I just want you to close your eyes. And this is about reclaiming your sensuality. So close your eyes, and I want you to stroke your face with your hands. Feel your side of your face, feel your chin, stroke down your neck. And if you can, stroke your arms, move all the way down to your fingertips. Get into that feeling of who you are. This is about reclaiming your sensuality, going with movement, feeling who you are, reconnecting with your body. We talk about self-care all the time. We talk about bubble baths, we talk about face masks. This isn't about that. This is about actually getting really deep. What actually nourishes you, what fills you up, what makes you sing. You're finding that nourishment here. And this is self-love because you're putting yourself first. Week 5, break free from expectations. There are no expectations, only yours. This is your boundaries. What are your boundaries? What do you want to let go of? Can you say no and accept it as a full sentence? Because that's what it is. You can say no. You don't have to explain anything after that. You say it with grace and firmness, and you let go. You put your own rules in, and you decide what you want to achieve. Week 6, bring it all together. Our divine feminine power. We accept who we are, and we celebrate who we are. This is a reawakening. It's reaffirming who you are, who you've always been, but bringing it to the forefront. And that's my program for 6 weeks, one-to-one. Get your sexy back and beyond.
Thank you, Valerie. Wow. I love it. I love it. It's amazing. We put the link in the chat if you want to participate in this 6-week coaching program with Valerie. The link is in the chat. Highly recommended. Amazing presentation. We have some time for questions, and I'm sure we have some. So does anybody have any questions for Valerie? And Valerie, we appreciate you staying up late. I know it's a little bit later where you are. So thank you for staying up late because we really needed to hear that. That was awesome. Anybody raise your hand? Valerie's here to take any questions for the next couple of minutes. Yes, Lynn Sanders.
This is more of a feedback than a question, but Valerie, I just loved your presentation because it was so soulful and also it was so interactive that we could feel the message. It wasn't just words going past us, and I thought that was really special. Love to learn more.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. That's what I'm about. So the program is actually getting, so for instance, the week 3 about the sensuality, we do get deeper. So that's why it's a one-on-one program. So it's all about you. And you get to chance to actually understand your own body and your own voice and, you know, feel fulfilled. So you're not shying away from who you actually are. So you're reclaiming that sensual side of you because we are feeling beings. We need to touch. We need to get used to it. And when we're women in midlife, and it's not to say that this is nothing to do with men, but primarily I work with women. But when you're in midlife, sometimes you just lose yourself that much. You just don't appreciate what you've actually got. So I want women to look in a mirror and go, yeah, I've got it.
Thank you.
Well, let's go to Michelle. Michelle, please.
I love that, being way past midlife, mid-age. Some years ago, I was about to begin dating for the first time in 22 years. And the idea of really being fully involved with someone was terrifying. And it never was way back in the day at all. I dated a lot, had fun, it was no big deal. But now, from the vantage point of being a mother, a grandmother, and not in the too long future, a great grandmother, I just had to have a whole mindset rework. It took some serious inner work.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of being an elder like I am. It's part of the road we travel, and there's nowhere to go but to a therapist. And I just don't think I'm comfortable with that idea, but I'm so glad you're out there and that you are taking it to the, to the realities of the challenge and the specifics and the details. And I'm glad to know you're out there, so I can find you and I can refer other people to you. That was beautifully presented. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because I do believe that it is our time now, and we need to take back our power. We need to take back our self-worth and our confidence.
Yeah.
And I'm all about the crone goddess, which is the powerful, wise woman who appreciates her strength and celebrates her wisdom and celebrates who she is right in this moment. You know, she's lived a life, she's got a lot to offer. And, you know, it's time to be seen and heard. So this is an important thing that women should share and have some love on themselves. Appreciate their lives.
Yes. Beautiful.
Well, thank you, Valerie. Love the information. I know a lot of people connect with it, and I hope and encourage everybody to reach out and participate in our 6-week coaching program. I just think it's so great. So thank you, Valerie, so much. We're going to move on to our next speaker, and not only speaker, but you could even say composer. You could even say music producer. Well, let me introduce AJ here. So our next presenter is AJ Goodwin, producer, chief collaboration partner, has spent over 3 decades preserving and sharing the legacy of maestro and master poet Paul Lloyd Warner, bringing his message and the healing power of music and harmony between humanity and nature to millions worldwide. Today, he unveils Deserts and Mountains 1 and 2, drawn from a 6-hour Mother Earth Symphonic Suite Collector series, where the music was recorded live in nature, capturing the stillness, mystery, and majesty of our planet. Everyone, please welcome Aaron J. Goodwin, visionary storyteller and steward of the Music for Peace movement. AJ, welcome. We will unmute you. You guys are going to hear some amazing sounds, music. AJ, please go ahead. Thank you so much. I'll allow the screen share there, and you can get started.
All right. Can you hear the music in the background?
We can. It sounds
great.
great.
Can you hear the music in the background?
Yes, we can.
All right. All right. I'm just going to give you a taste of the music, and we're going to get right into this. So I am very excited. Wow, how many great speakers have we had, and how many wonderful opportunities, how each one of you have gifts to share with the world, and how we all together are collaborating, co-creating, and manifesting the greatness of who we are as humanity. So what I'm going to share with you today, I'm going one step ahead. I got to go and do the screen share first. And there we go. All right, you can all see my screen?
Yes, perfect. Go ahead, AJ.
All right. So this is the immersive art, music for peace, and a vision to bring for humanity, truly a legacy that is for generations to come. And let me see if I get this out of the way, and I'm learning how to deal with this one. All right. I'm bringing to you tonight is the very beginning of a global launch right here on the Entrepreneurial Summit, The Healing Power of Music, a vision of bringing heartfelt music inspired by nature. This way, what you will all be able to experience is something that you'll be able to take at home, but also be able to reveal to millions of people now as it comes to birth again. And this is the mission to become the most beloved music of our time, celebrated, and the most profitable music, again, like it had been in the past. We have a very large collection. What I'm going to share with you is just the taste of deserts and mountains. Maestro and I, we had spent about 33 years live in nature in other locations. We had whole teams of people. We would go and perform in these locations, and we had an incredible journey, sold over 1 million albums. He had a journey that lasted up until August 29th, 2023. Now he's in the cosmic heavens, enjoying watching us down below as we reveal this legacy that unfolds. And so who am I? My name is Arion J. Goodwin, and for over 35 years, I've had the honor of being Paul Lloyd Warner's collaborator, archivist, and close friend to Maestro. And together we birthed much of his modern classical music live in nature, where he composed in deep harmony with the world around us. And I've dedicated my life to carrying forward this legacy as chief storyteller, steward, and gathering Paul's vast, immersive music, a very large body of literary manuscripts and media and art. And with that, sharing it with audiences. And now, after his transition 2 years ago, I have been able to assess this amazing treasure trove of a legacy. And now we're ready to bring it to audiences as big as IMAX and all the way down onto your cell phones. So by doing this and creating a Music for Peace initiative, we can continue this gift of inspiration, healing, creativity, and the transformation that'll be here for generations to come. And, oops, let me go back one. Imagine going live in nature, starting out in the 70s, performing Live at Sea to the Whales. And here we are out at the Grand Canyon of the Blue Whale motor coach with a full recording studio right there live in nature. We bring it back to the shows, and what happened? People bought. And it was incredible. The transformational stories we heard were just beautiful, one after another. And from that, we were able to go and build our teams. And now, rather than just doing it only at shows, we're going to do it virtually. And with the affiliate infrastructure that we have now available to us, this is a great way for you to build upon your network with great music that you can use for your intros and outros. You can use it for your healing and prosperity. So imagine, again, if you're just relaxing after that long day, and let the music sync with every cell of your body. Because sometimes you'll want the music in the background while you're in research or you're doing something, and other times you'll want to sit back, because that's where the frequency and the vibration that we've heard from many of the other speakers of how they're bringing that forth with all their unique gifts. And now we have the gift of music that really brings it forward into the 21st century. And look how music has been used in all different ways, and ours, it really focuses on the anxiety to calm, burnout to relax, and chaos to focus. And that way you can elevate your life and fill it with purpose through the healing power of Paul Lloyd Warner's music. And from that, you think about all the many different ways that it can be used. I won't go into them, but, cognitive and neurological, physical and biological, and emotional and spiritual. We have many ways to use music like this. And from that, the deserts and mountains will be revealed to you. This is part of a Mother Earth 6-hour symphonic series. There's over 30 orchestras, piano, harp, choirs, all done live in nature. So why are we here? Why are we really, truly here? Well, you know that in many places of the world, our home is melting. Our oceans can't breathe like it used to. And we've cut our lungs to the earth, and the silence is spreading. we have to take notice to these things as a global humanity and how we can take charge. And with myself as the lead of this legacy, I will bring that forth to you in ways that we can really walk side by side and make a difference on the planet. And with that, you'll be able to use this music again to bring it to your families, bring it to your loved ones, bring it to your cohorts. Let it be used in the background, and let's grow with our prosperity.
Introducing the release of 2 new albums, Deserts and Mountains, Symphonic Suites 1 and 2. Step into a sonic journey where horizons sing and the soul listens. Experience the brilliant music of Maestro Paul Lloyd Warner and immerse yourself into a deep presence through his masterful compositions. This unique experience connects you to the profound healing power of music. As you listen, open your mind for greater clarity and focus. Many say that music like this connects you to the profound power of the universe. Immerse yourself in the beauty of Paul Lloyd Warner's waterfall music. Recorded live in nature, it carries the voices of the Grand Canyon and the mountains of the Great Northwest. Receive spiritual upliftment as you contemplate around the campfire. From the stillness of sandy desert to the majesty of mountains, allow the sound of music guide you. Embark on a transformative journey. Become one of the first 100 to join our exclusive founding members club and help preserve a vision for global change. Begin with Symphonic Suites 1 and 2 to honor Maestro Paul Lloyd Warner's legacy. Also, by joining, you can participate in our first level inner circle and a vibrant affiliate community, sharing the music programs worldwide while earning. Thank you. Introducing the...
So with that, you think that, over time, how many times have you taken music out with you for your walk, or maybe you just needed that quiet time and that healing? Well, that's what this music will do. It's truly some of the most transformative music that I've ever experienced, and I've had the opportunity to have it for myself, to listening to people with just beautiful journeys that they've had. So with this Legacy founding member group, right now our focus is to create something where it's like a living tree legacy, a mirror of truth that shines through music, Paul Lloyd Warner, where the growth and wisdom unite all elements and sing as one. And with that, we are creating the gift of music for generations to come. Now, also, what I'm here to do in this is to invite the first 3 people that will be able to go and come on as collaborators, but then there'll be 100 people that will come in as Legacy Founding Membership Program. And that'll help shape us in this movement from the ground up and bring Paul Lloyd Warner's music, which has already transformed lives. And we're building this living program of resources so that in future events, this vision will be carried forward. So the doors are now open. This is our global release right here on this entrepreneurial summit, which I am very honored to be a part of. And if you feel called, I'd love to sit and collaborate with you and to learn about your gifts and to see how we might be able to walk side by side and bring forth this generation of our history in the making. So with that, Deserts and Mountains is again part of that first series. The Mother Earth series also will include Waterfalls and Oceans, Earth and Stars. And then there'll be many other albums and then a very large body of publishing that will be released. So a lot of work that is occurring. And just remember that every once in a while, a great legacy comes around. And if you feel called and to be a part of our vision, this is the movement, this is our community, and you are our tribe. So thank you again. And with that, there is much of the music that is online, and I'll be able to go and share more of that with you. But right now, this is
that was the music coming in. Yeah. Thank you, AJ. Incredible. Love the information, love the music. And something really unique that people can participate here on the Great Discovery. The link to Deserts and Mountains is in the chat for anybody interested. I love the music. I think it sounds beautiful. It's like it just takes you to a different place entirely. It's like transportive for me. I think everybody can get something out of it. But AJ, can we take some questions for you? I think people might be interested. We have a question here from Michael. Can we get a question or two?
Sure.
Excellent. Michael, we'll ask you to unmute. Question for AJ.
Great energy, AJ. I will be listening to the replay to catch all of what you were saying, but because you're in the music industry and because you have something so powerful to introduce to the public, my question, I caught the tail end of what you were saying as far as the collaboration and collaborators and founders, but essentially, as a collaborator, are there royalties that are going to be shared and publishings for whatever the new version or whatever amended version that comes out of what you are offering right now?
Yes, there will be. That's the thing. When our street teams were out there, they were able to sell the music and they made a commission and profits. The same thing here. We will have all this structured in multiple levels. So there will be a multiple tier infrastructure depending if you're going to come in and help in licensing, distribution, and other ways. And affiliate infrastructures, we're building that. So we're going to be building it together. And we'll have this background as your workspace, people's for their meditation and to help really bring forth a living legacy. And so, yeah, if you had, let's say, a connection to somebody in film and then they use the music in the film, that would be definitely commissions that would come in. But again, like the Great Discovery, when you go and are an affiliate, you actually introduce it to somebody else, you get paid on everything. And there'll be some very large collector sets, a 21-hour collector set later on, and there'll be whole publishing collector sets as well.
Thank you, AJ. Any other questions for AJ? Any other questions?
Oh, I do have one thing to share, is that in the chat, it is normally $60 for the 2-hour series. There's a savings of $12 for the first 3 people. So that's a gift I have for you.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. All right. We are coming up here on our next speaker. Any final questions? Let's see. Perfect. Okay. Well, Bree, this is so amazing. This has been such an incredible summit. This is going to be our last speaker. Last but not least, of course, really excited for this one. It will be Lynn Sanders. Lynn Sanders will be closing us out. Bree, let's tell everybody a little bit more about Lynn.
Sure. Lynn Sanders is a story empowerment coach. She's a 3-time best-selling author, award-winning writer, media host, and the founder and president of Difference Makers Media. Her presentation, Master the Power of Your Story, reveals why your story is powerful in your business growth. Most people struggle to access its full potential. You'll also learn simple, actionable insights to begin crafting a compelling, authentic story that elevates your brand and accelerates your business. Please welcome Lynn to the stage.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here. And thank you all for waiting till the end. I really appreciate your time. So today is the day you're going to stop playing small with your story and start using it to grow your business. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn what it takes to master your story power to create real connection, real impact, and real results. I encourage you to listen closely, take notes, and stay with me to the end. You might be wondering, well, why is my story so important? Why do I matter? Stories are the heartbeat of our human connection. People remember stories more than facts, figures, or funnels. Your story makes you memorable, trusted, and yes, profitable. Your story makes you unique because no one else has your story. No one else has lived your life. Your story is your edge. Ultimately, as I've learned, your story is not just your outer story, not just what you do. It's about who you are being, your inner story that emotionally connects you to your audience. The fact is, we all have stories to tell, but the problem is most people have never learned how to craft, tell, and share their story effectively. You weren't taught how to create a compelling pitch, how to write your story, speak confidently on camera, leverage your stories to attract perfect clients. You weren't even advised about developing that great mindset that's within you. And so what happens? You tell your story, but it falls flat. You feel overwhelmed and discouraged. And I know how you feel because I felt that way too. Sharing your story without a strategy is like talking through a megaphone in Times Square while everyone walks past wearing noise-canceling headphones. And that's why guidance is so important. Ooh, excuse me. There we go. Gonna get back. There you go. So you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to figure this out just by yourself. I am here to help you because I've gone through the story journey myself and I know what it takes. I've had coaches and I advise all of us to keep learning to grow and be the best we can be. Storytelling is a skill like any other, and it's not easy to master by yourself. Many talented leaders have had a struggle to use their story consistently. And then if people don't hear your story, they'll miss out on your brilliance, and that can improve other people's lives. So that's why I do this work, to help you make a bigger difference. That's why my company is Difference Makers Media. So you can communicate your story with clarity, confidence, and charisma, and ultimately achieve results. Let me share a bit of my story. That's my mom next to me on my 40th birthday. You know, even though I'm now a successful best-selling author, a writer, a media host, a story empowerment coach, and I worked with clients from Allstate to McDonald's to Underwriters Labs, it wasn't always easy because I wasn't always feeling fulfilled. I was a freelance writer and creative consultant, and then suddenly the unexpected happened. My beautiful mom, who was my best friend, suddenly passed away in 2004, and everything just shifted. In fact, the world just stopped for me. I was devastated, and I didn't feel I could go on. I started telling myself negative thoughts like I could barely stand it, and as a result, my back gave out and I could barely walk. It wasn't until I met a healing coach that everything changed. When I consciously chose to stop my negative thinking, my back healed. I then realized I could honor my mother's memory best by living my life to the fullest, choosing positive thoughts and helping others do the same. I suddenly saw the connection between our inner story, what we tell ourselves, and the outer results. My mom's passing taught me two important and powerful lessons, and those lessons shaped my why. I'm having a little trouble moving this forward. The lessons were, there's a little bit of, I'm sorry about this. I'm trying to get to the next slide.
Try to use the arrows on your computer, Lynn.
See, we have to keep working on and there it is. The lessons were that our time on our life here is limited on earth, and so the story we tell ourselves matter. We get to choose our thoughts that create our reality. And the second lesson was that while the world continues bombarding us with negative media, and we all know that, we can choose to tell stories to inspire, empower, and transform lives. And that has become the heartbeat of my mission, to awaken you to your highest potential and create stories that make a difference. So here's what most people overlook. Oh, goodness, I'm having a little trouble with just moving this forward. Aha. Most people are focused on their outer story, but the point is that before you tell your outer story, the one the world sees, you must first master your inner story, as many people have been telling you today, the beliefs you hold about yourself. And it's something I still work on every day. Your beliefs shape your reality. You are what you think you are. Your inner story affects your energy, confidence, and results. When your inner story and outer stories align, that's when your impact expands. So ask yourself, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? What drives your passion? That's where your story's true power begins. again, anyway, to help you all work with your outer story today, I want to give you 4 storytelling keys to build your business. Number 1, you need to know who is your ideal audience. Who do you serve? Who do you help, and why do they need you? Get as clear as you can about that. Secondly, what problem do you solve? Every story starts with a challenge. So what is the pain your audience is facing? My clients are tired of being the world's best kept secret. They want more exposure, more connections, and more revenue. And that's what I help them achieve. Aha. Now I'm moving it forward too much. Next, key number 3, what is the solution to your client's problem? I want you to think about that in terms of giving your clients the tools they need to emerge out of their own cocoon and become a butterfly. Share the process that helps your clients overcome their challenges. For me, I give clients a combination of story coaching, writing, interviews, marketing, and promotion, all blended with mindset techniques. I love helping clients express their authentic voice and become the best they can be. Story key number 4 is your benefits. What benefits do you provide your clients? Let's paint the transformation together. How do people feel about working with you? What shifts have they experienced? In this case, my client Jackie Reed, founder of Westside Health Authority, was thrilled to have one of her stories land on the front page of the Sunday Chicago Tribune, and it resulted in a 6-figure donation from Chicago's Mayor Daley. Later, Jackie Reed even had a street in Chicago named after her. You could see at the top, Jacqueline Jackie Reed Way. You never know the positive ripple effects that happen from your story power. So to bring your stories together to life, I wanted to put all the elements together in a program for you, Attract Abundance with Your Story. This is a step-by-step storytelling system, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. You'll get my 30 plus years of storytelling experience with video training, templates, workbooks, mindset tools, and more. Here's an overview. You'll get video training on how to craft, tell, and share your story, as well as a bonus on creating the perfect pitch. You'll get materials, you'll get mindset mastery tips, even a bonus of how to prepare yourself on camera, and most of all, 3 private coaching sessions with me. The full value is $1,600, but today your investment is less than half, just $500, and I want to give you even more. And that is, instead of a discount, I want to give you a fast action bonus that will really accelerate your results. An extra hour of private consulting that you can apply towards a professional video interview that showcases your story on my program, The Difference Makers. You'll be promoted to thousands of my followers on social media, as well as featured on Wonderful Living TV, where your story will be featured on 4 online platforms, Amazon Fire, Amazon Prime, Roku TV, and Apple TV, and they receive over 3 million hits a month. Even if only a fraction of those viewers hear the story, what would that be worth to you? Imagine having a polished story that attracts ideal clients to you 24/7. So are you ready to shine a light on you and build your influence, impact, and revenue through your story? Then sign up through the link. Remember, we all make a difference, and we get to choose what kind of difference you want to make. I'm here to help you bring your stories to life, to inspire, empower, and transform lives. Thank you for all you do. I can't wait to help you attract abundance with you.
Wow, perfect timing, Lynn. Wow. Perfect ending to an incredible summit. Lynn's link is in the chat. We have 5 minutes for questions for Lynn. Anybody have any questions for Lynn? People were loving it in the chat. They said the story is so powerful. There's this great conversation in the chat while you were speaking, Lynn. So people were loving the presentation. Fantastic job. Again, if you want to take advantage of that offer, please do so in the chat. Grandma Sparky. Wow, thanks for joining here a little bit later. We'd love to hear from you. You have a question for Lynn?
Yes, I just want to give a shout out to Lynn because she not only helped me craft my book, Sparky and the Magic Blue Ribbon. I'm a world-class TEDx presenter, speaker, trainer, author, and she's a master at taking the story that I wanted in my heart and wouldn't give up on me until I wrote the book, and now it's out. I appreciate her, and I'm so glad I was able to get on this call. Masterful. Mwah, I love you dearly.
Love you back. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thanks for inviting her, Lynn. Incredible. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate this. I think this whole experience is great for all of us because we have to all break through our fears. And many people here have talked about their inner stories and beliefs and soul connections. And this gives us all a chance to go past our fears and just share our stories in our own way. So I'm grateful for that.
Excellent point. Yeah. Yeah. Such a great point, Lynn. I wanted to welcome Natalie. So you hopped on. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Any questions for Lynn? Any questions for Lynn?
That's okay.
Okay, we'll take advantage of that. Attract abundance with your story in the chat. Awesome deal. You're going to get that extra hour with Lynn. Super valuable. And thanks for sharing, Grandma Spark. We got to learn more about you too. Maybe you should be at our next summit. All right.
I'm gonna
All
love
right.
you.
Well, I want to talk about our next summit really briefly. If you want to learn more about being a speaker at this summit, we're going to be having more summits. And this one, guys, it's been very good. I mean, I just want to give a special thanks to all the speakers. I'm like, we have to do this more. This was so amazing. Like, I'm kind of shocked right now. I'm like it was really good, guys. So thank you, speakers. You all did incredible. Like, seriously, every single one. I was captivated the entire time, literally. I was like, it's pretty late here in Taiwan. I was like, I might have to doze. I was locked in the entire time. So excellent job to everybody. If you want to learn more about our next summit, being a speaker at our next summit, I'm going to put it in the chat. Next summit. There's a YouTube video. It'll tell you why this summit is different than any other. I mean, you saw why it's different than any other summit, but when you really learn about how we do summits, you'll see how powerful what we're doing here is. We obviously have an incredible lineup of speakers, an incredible community all collaborating on this summit. And we would love for you to be a speaker at our next summit, which is very soon. And we might be even having more because this one went so well. Want to give a special thank you to Bree. Like, couldn't ask for a better co-host. Thank you so much. You did an awesome job introducing people, managing the room, helping out. Bree, what are your thoughts on the summit?
Oh my gosh, we rocked it. This was so fantastic. Listen, you guys, I sat here so incredibly impressed by each and every one of you. We had great questions. We had people buying courses. We had the best speakers. This was such a huge success. I am so grateful and so thankful to each and every one of you. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being active in the chat. All of the things. You guys are amazing. I am blown away. And a special thank you to Alex. It is, 4 a.m. where you are at right now? 4 a.m. He stayed up all night for us. I can't wait to see what comes out at our next summit. It is November 13th. Write it down on your calendars. November 13th. We are looking for speakers. We are so excited to have you as part of this. I hope that you really had a great time, that you learned a lot, and that you can sign up for some courses because, man, there's a lot of good ones. So, Alex, thanks for being, as always, an amazing co-host. It's always so much fun when we get to do a project together. So thanks to everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Love to see you at our next summit. If you want to learn more, reach out to the person who invited you and give them a thank you for inviting you here. And again, we'd love to see you on our next one. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. I gotta go. We'll see y'all later.
Bye, everybody.